Raid coming in?
Yeah, Justin raided me. At least.
Oh, thank you for the raid.
I appreciate you, buddy. I do. Who's Micah? Micah, you 20 over 21?
Yes, hi, I'm 31.
Awesome. And what topic did you want to talk about?
I don't know. I'm not MAGA. I just wanted to say hi. Fen sent me here. I'm Fen's spouse.
No problem.
No, hello.
Tonight is my politics night. Tuesdays is my religious atheist debate talk. And then I do kind of mixed topics sometimes when I get other nights other than Tuesday and Thursday this month. Yeah, this is my platform. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a leftist, so that's where I'm sitting.
Good to know. Good to know. You're welcome to hang out for at least a little bit until I get some more people in.
Yeah.
Yep, Seth, it's Thursday. It's politics night. It is politics night.
Fen sent you
Hey,
here.
Benny. Thank you so much again, Justin Raiders. Thank you again, Justin, for the raid. I appreciate that so much. All right, Hector, are you over 21?
Yeah, I'm 38.
Perfect. And which topic did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just want to talk about MAGA in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool guy. So,
Who is?
Donald Trump.
How is he a cool guy?
Yeah, like, you know, he's super rich. He owns a bunch of stuff. He has a lot of rich friends. He was like the host of a TV show. He was in a
Just like money?
well, he socializes. He has socialized with a bunch of cool people. He has a bunch of
How are they cool people? You don't know them.
yeah, like Hollywood people. I think those people are kind of cool, like
You don't
movie
know
stars.
How'd you know that?
Oh, I'm just looking on the onset. Like, I've never met Michael Jordan, but he seems like a cool guy. I think like LeBron James. Like, I never met him. He looks like a cool guy.
So you're
So
basing your opinions on the country and how it's ran.
Well, I mean, would you
guy?
say that Kamala Harris is a good person? You never met Kamala Harris.
Based on the work she does, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can make opinions on people
No,
without
I'm
people.
basing it off
So
their
that's
options.
perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine saying,
Basing
"Hey,
it on their actions.
I'm looking at Michael Jordan. I see that he does a cool movie. He has nice presence about him.
Okay, you're
And,
talking
yeah,
about
so that would mean-
surface level
that means
stuff.
he
I'm
looks
talking
pretty
about
cool.
actual issues, Hector.
Yeah, no. You said that a good person that would be different.
I never said good person. You said
I asked you. You would say that Kamala Harris was a good person, and you said yes.
based on
And then I
her work.
Not the felon.
Right.
And then I asked you based on what.
Hector,
and
if
then
you're
you
not
gave
going
us
to
a
listen to
criteria.
answers, then there's no point in talking.
Hey, if you don't want to listen
I'm
to questions,
literally trying to answer your question, and you're not letting me talk.
Yeah.
You're literally
Go
just
ahead.
rambling.
Go ahead.
All right. She is a good person based on her actions and the things that she did for people while she was in her various offices.
Yeah, and so when you ask me why like Michael Jordan's cool, it would be based on his actions.
Michael Jordan was cool.
Well, you asked me how these people were cool, and I just said I think
why
it's cool.
Trump was cool.
Yeah,
What
and I
about
just
Trump
told
is
you.
cool?
Yeah, so I
Because he hangs
based
out with
it
celebrities.
off of, so I watched The Apprentice. I thought he was really cool in The Apprentice.
You watched a bunch of shows. What did he
and I
do?
like his presence that he has around other people. He makes funny
You like
memes.
him being a racist, a
His
rapist,
tweets are pretty funny.
pedophile. You like him doing all those things.
Okay. I'm gonna do a mod thing right now. Hector, last I checked, this is not your live. When the host speaks, you listen and then you respond. You don't just talk over him.
Well, first off, I'm conquering this live. Okay, as a fascist.
So you're not conquering nothing.
Terrible asshole. I'm taking over. You're literally just rambling.
Over.
Are you? Are you? Because it seems like I'm putting you in silence. What are you conquering? Hmm? Come on, colonizer. Pray to your God. Pray to your God. Hmm?
I really want to
Conquered it
know
how?
what is what did Kamala Harris do that's like so bad? Like I can think of like 100
She's
things.
a woman of color.
I can think of like 100 things Trump has done.
I like how he just tried to give us permission to talk on my live.
Right. It's so funny that's why this little baby is being put in a muzzle right now. He needs to be a good boy. He needs to be a good dog and stay silent.
Nobody's listening to you, Hector.
Good boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You want a treat? You want a treat?
I'm not gonna sit there and listen to that. And I'm not gonna get my live taken down just because he wants to be a dick.
Anyway, he wasn't going to answer, Benny.
No. He was interrupting like every time Dugald spoke, anyways.
Literally every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, literally. I've never either read Star. I'm conquering this.
Yeah, me either.
I'm conquering this life. What the fuck? Child.
He couldn't even conquer how to wash his ass properly. I highly doubt he could conquer a life.
He wasn't 28 nor 38. Maggie, you. Oh, all right, there. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, bye. Oh, D. Hutchins, why don't you come up and actually talk instead of just saying bullshit out in the chat? Like, have an actual conversation. Do you not want to do that because you know it's not going to go well? Just saying. All right. Top, are you over 21?
Yes.
Perfect. What topic did you want to pick?
Just the fact that you think Trump's a fascist. I mean, it's ridiculous.
How is it ridiculous?
If Trump was a fascist, do you really think they would be allowed to protest in LA? I mean, you wouldn't even know about it if Trump was a fascist. If Trump was a fascist, then they wouldn't arrest them. They would shoot them.
Do you know how Germany did its thing or any other fascism did its thing?
I mean, I feel like true fascism has never been done.
Do you think it just happened overnight?
Well, I don't necessarily think Germany was fascist.
It was quite literally fascist.
Well, I think they lie. There's a lot of lies about Germany. I think they lie about.
It's not lies. It was literally what happened.
No, there's a lot of lies about
what
Hitler.
Lies? What lies?
Well, they lie about how many it was. You know, I think they lie about the characters.
What's your source on that?
Oh, what's my source? Common sense. You really think they can do?
Common sense is not a source. That's
really
just your brain making shit up. What is your source? That's not the real number.
All feelings, no facts.
Yeah, all
what's the real number?
This is what kills me. MAGA does this. They call everybody else.
Oh, I'm not MAGA.
I don't give a fuck. You're still a supporter of him. Everybody, you all sit there and call everybody else.
Trump's controlled the Jews, so I mean, I don't really care.
Everybody else this, that, and the other thing. But when they ask
every
you about
time I join your live, you're saying delusion.
I mean, you're coming up here.
Oh my
Okay, everyone, no home training. They have no home training whatsoever.
None. And then you all
I had to
sit
kick
there.
him. He said something really anti-Semitic there.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Oh, okay.
But you all do that. You all call everybody else dumb and too soft, or all your big feelings, or all your snowflakes and all this shit. But yet all you do is come up here and talk about how it makes you feel. I don't like the immigrants. They make me feel bad. Trump makes me feel good. He's a big man. Like, you all literally only ever have your thoughts and feelings about literally everything. You all have no facts whatsoever. You don't know shit about anything.
I'm in high school.
You all literally just make shit up and then go on your more feelings. Black people bad. Brown people bad. Y'all are fucking ridiculous.
I mean, how delusional can you be as a person?
I don't know. You're awful delusional, Mr. White Colonizer. You're pretty goddamn delusional, that's for sure.
Yeah, what kind of name is that?
Dude, how many loads have you taken in the ass?
Oh, quite a few. It doesn't even matter.
I fucking knew it.
How many different people feelings? Wait, hold on. I want to answer
Quite
this
a few loads.
How many make you feel bad and do not like gay people?
Because you're gay.
You not like gay people, right?
Said the guy that brought it up.
Right. Why are you so concerned about other people's
dresses on?
Why are you so obsessed with other people's genitals?
I'm not obsessed. I think it's hilarious.
Well, you clearly are, because you brought that up out of nowhere for no reason.
You're gay as hell, bro.
Dude,
I know. I love it when they tell me a thing I know about myself as if it's an insult.
Yeah, like, what? This is not an insult. Like,
I'm aware I'm gay.
homophobia.
You know what they are.
Yeah.
Like, you're not
Even
doing
Republicans, half of like Trump's
big sweaty
cabinet
loads
is
up
on
your
Grindr.
Oh no, I'm gay. I never would have known.
the Republicans on Grindr, but go off, I guess.
How would I have ever known I was gay if he hadn't come up and
How
told
many
me?
cocks have you sucked?
Wow.
Me that
I
Dugald
lost
didn't
count.
ask for.
I lost count.
Right,
Like-
like I never knew.
What you want to? You trying to like offer or something? I don't understand here.
Like, why are you so freaked out and worried about it? Like, you're literally obsessed about it because nobody brought this up.
Yeah, as long as I can record.
You're the one who's asking me how many and how much.
Are you
Seems like
gay
you
just
really
so
wanna
you can
know.
tell other people there's
You obviously are closeted and very scared.
No.
Oh, come out of that
You're
closet.
very
It's made of
ass.
glass. We can see you.
I would throw up if you.
Your closet's made of glass. Come out. We can see you.
Yeah.
They're so weird. This is weirdo behavior. Like
The
what?
amount of detail he was getting into there, I was like,
Right?
You wanted to
It's
know
like
all the
sure.
business.
It's
You
coming
wanted
from
all the
inside the
business.
house.
You wanted all the business.
Like, baby, it's okay. It's a safe space.
Like, why do you need to know so bad? Why are you so concerned about it?
Oh, he's
You can tell he put like a lot of thought into your,
Right.
what you do in the sheets. He's like thinking about it a lot, and it's
yeah, I don't even think about it that much. And honey, I'm on testosterone. I think about it all the time.
mood.
Like, how weird. Literally, Christians and MAGA, both. They have the craziest obsession with people's genitals and what they do with them. It is the weirdest fucking thing.
I think it's because they want a piece of it and they can't have it because they know that they'll be excommunicated from their little cults or group settings.
Maybe, because, like,
we know that he had his hand down his pants the whole time he was talking to you anyway.
oh,
I mean,
that's-
look at Dugald. How could you not?
My
He's
pretty
not
bald head.
no.
my pretty boss. Hey, Paige. How are you, friend? But yeah, that was
This is gonna be a
one
little.
of the-
This is gonna be a little confusing with two Fens in here, but we'll make it work.
All right, Finn, you're over 21, I assume?
I am 38. Yes.
Perfect. Everybody's 38.
87 master race. You know.
All right, which topic did you want to talk about?
So actually, I had a different thing that I think was missed, and I haven't been seeing this topic anywhere, which is a little interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen this because I'm a New Yorker. We just nominated Mamdani for Democratic.
And Mom Gunny. And the sorry. I love
We
him.
just put him up as our Democratic primary winner, and Trump has basically said that he will attempt to invade New York City if he wins. And that is freaking terrifying.
So American, right? So freedom.
Yeah,
So
like
freedom.
I keep on seeing all these people that used to say how Biden was, a tyrant who was going after MAGA people, and yet here I am sitting in New York City, literally being told that if we elect this guy, he's going to invade our city. Like, it's
They're the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Well,
these people,
Yep.
literally nothing.
Well,
but
like they need to pick a side on that one too. Like, is Biden like unable to make a sentence, or is he
just criminal mastermind?
Yeah, a criminal mastermind. One of the other guys.
he's a criminal mastermind, but he went senile. Then his son took over. I think is the logical, so-called logic.
That's what they mean by Hunter's laptop.
Yeah,
Hunter's
yeah.
controlling Joe. Oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense.
What kills
What?
me
That's a
especially
new one.
about this Epstein thing, they're like, well, Trump, if Trump was on there, Biden would have released it. And I'm like, well, first and foremost, nobody claimed that there wasn't both Democrats and Republicans on there. So why would they release it? Number two, I think they still should have regardless. But number two, like, when we're talking about the hypocrisy of it, Epstein was literally arrested in 2016. Who was president?
Yep. The funnier thing is watching all these people who are like far right wing pundits bend head over heels. Well, there are a lot of them who are basically turning their backs on Trump because of this.
Yep.
But those who aren't, the watching them try to spin pretzels in order to try to explain why Trump would do this is funny as fuck.
Hold on a second. Wolf, I'm aware he was president in 16, but who was elected in 16? Yes, Trump. Epstein was in jail. When?
When Epstein unalived, who was in charge? And also, like, Bill Barr needs to come out and say what the heck happened.
Oh, goofy. Oh my God, here we go. Bob, why would Trump release evidence on himself in his first term? Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Why would he have told the DOJ to release the Epstein files during his first term if he were on it? You literally just said that. If Trump had anything to do with Epstein's Island, that would have been released all before his first term. No, and again, there are Democrats and Republicans on there. Arrest them fucking all. I don't care if it's Clinton. I don't care if it's Obama. I don't give a fuck who's on the list. Arrest them all.
That's the thing.
Every one of them.
We don't care.
Fuck.
No one's safe.
Again, Bob, I don't give a fuck. If he's on that fucking flight log, arrest him too. We don't worship politicians. If they fucked up, arrest them.
People on Twitter right now that are saying like they don't care if Trump did these things, that they would still support him. And that is wild. That is like CULT cult.
Right.
Well, we already knew they don't care about women and children. So.
Well, we also know that people have said outright that if you remember back when I think during his first term, where he said he could shoot somebody in the middle of Manhattan and everybody would still vote for him anyway.
Right.
His followers agreed with that. Like, we already know that this is where their heads are at.
What kills me is you still got Bob G down here. Explain to me how prove to me that he was on the list. I can't. He won't release the fucking information. Pam Bondi? Oh, come on. You got Hanji, was it you or Benny?
Nothing.
What? I didn't get nothing.
It says guest got a sexual harassment violation. Did they get the guy that was up here?
Oh.
Probably.
Okay, TikTok, I kicked him off.
Maybe it was me. I'll just drop just to drop.
Yeah, I'll drop too. Just
Drop
in case.
and come back. Both of you come back. Where'd Finn go?
I'm right here. This is why it was confusing.
The other one. The other one. There we go.
I think Fen is taking a call.
It wasn't that fun.
All right, but here's the thing, Bob G.
Really quick, Hanji, I just want to say I miss watching you on Deconstruction Zone. I wondered where you went.
I'm around. A lot of people want me to come back, and I'm just like, you just gotta talk to him. Maybe I'll guest star one day.
Are you still Hellenistic? I kind of felt that you were.
Always.
You're very Hellenistic.
Oh yes, I'm Hellenic committed.
Yeah, I'm an atheo pagan Norse atheo pagan myself. So.
Oh, stop.
So yeah, we have similar interests.
Bob G. Ran.
A lot of people thought I was joking.
Damn it. Bob G. Ran. I was going to explain to him why he's guilty.
Aw, Bob, don't be like that. But yeah, a lot of people in Justin's server thought that I was like doing it to be facetious. I'm just like, oh no, I do believe in my gods, my ancestors. I was not joking.
I mean, I've seen a lot in the communities I'm in. Pagans and atheists get along pretty well.
For the most part. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there are those, like the biggest thing. So I'm part of, do you know Ocean Keltoy?
Ocean Keltoy?
Yeah.
I have not heard that term, no.
He's a YouTuber. He's a very progressive pagan YouTuber. And he has quite the growing community. You should check him out. He gets into it. He does a lot of long form videos about pagan or Norse myths and kind of giving them a progressive bent. But he's very good if you ever want to check him out.
I definitely will. I respect the Norse practice of the Nordic deities. Actually, I respect all the ancient deities. It's just I'm not a part of that, so I don't worship or follow. But if they reach out, that's fine because I know certain cultures are open, but also certain cultures are closed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a pro-pagan panel. Sorry. I'll shut up.
Yeah, we're heathens.
All right, y'all. Ooh, we had 64 people, now we're down to 34. So tap, 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 share, share, share.
That was us.
Yeah,
that was all me and Hanji. That was us. I'm sorry.
No, it started dropping after the maggots started dropping like flies.
Yeah, when they all freaked out for no reason. That's my thing. Like, why are they all still mad?
I don't know. Right? It's like, didn't y'all win? Why are you?
Because
why are you in your fifis?
Because the left isn't suffering enough. It's literally what it is. They thought once Trump was in office, all the Democrats would be put in jail, all the immigrants would be kicked out, everyone would be suffering except for them, and now they're put into a position where, oh no, grocery prices still suck, everyone's money is still crap, and they're like, well, I voted for this guy, but I'm still going to have to defend him because I'm going to just plant my feet and say everything's good. Everything's fine.
And what's funny is that the left was never going to suffer that much because the left, number one, believes in more socialistic type views, so therefore we're going to take care of each other. And on top of that, the things that he keeps attacking people for, that he claims are left-wing things, are affecting the red states the most.
Yep. Yeah, blue states pay for the red states, and we've tried to show them this plenty of times. And I personally, as a leftist, is like, I'm fine with that. I want to support you guys, but I can't help support you guys if you keep voting in idiots who think that social safety nets are a bad thing.
Right.
The self-like cannibalism is wild.
And it's all just so hypocritical. Just so hypocritical. Every bit of it. They're all like, oh no, small government, yet they elected Trump, who now wants everything.
Well, it's a very small government if only one person is in charge, right?
I guess so.
I just don't get how they can justify the defense budget. And, like, that's why we don't have healthcare. That's why we don't have social safety nets.
Yep.
Because we're...
Well, that and the billionaires getting all that money.
Well, they probably also have some weird thing that only people who have, like, fought, quote unquote, for the country deserve such safety nets to begin with. Like, you have to join the military, and the military will protect us from all the immigrants and the brown people. So, they're pro that. They want that. And also in case we invade Canada and Greenland, which that was an interesting.
Good luck.
We almost invaded Panama, Greenland, Canada, and then there was another one.
I heard. Did anyone else see the reports that Trump said that he was going to bomb Moscow and?
You don't want to piss off Daddy Putin now.
Actually, I'm genuinely not worried about pissing off Daddy Putin. Genuinely.
I was talking about him. That's he's his lapdog.
Yeah, him, because he'll cut off the money and whatnot. But he still has the Heritage Foundation, which is why I think he's being a little bold about it. I told you all, this is what I think has happened. So, like back in the 80s, maybe the 70s, I can't remember his name, but they caught a Russian operative here or in Canada. He told them what the game plan was for America. He said they were going to turn it into another Russia within the next however many decades. They had a plan. He described it. It's what's been happening.
Oh.
But
trying to do it.
Trump has so many ties to fucking Russia, and you all just know he does it. No, he doesn't. Yeah, the fuck, yeah, he does. It's where most of his fucking business was.
Tim Pool said that Ukraine is the biggest enemy to the American people. What do you mean?
And now all of a sudden, and that's another thing they're all pissed about. They're like, what do you mean we're sending weapons and money to Ukraine?
that was a weird horseshoe moment for me when I saw communists and Nazis both saying we shouldn't send any money to Ukraine.
Just like, what the fuck?
Hey, now I'm a communist and I'm all for Ukraine. Ukraine
Yeah,
needs to
but
whoop their ass.
you're not an ML, I would assume.
Oh, fair. No, yeah, no.
There's just
the MLs that are like, oh no, let Ukraine burn.
What's
Yeah, no,
ML?
fuck that.
What's MLs? I've not heard that one.
Marxist Leninist, tankies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically
Stalinists.
anarchists.
No, they're Stalinist apologists. They believe in the vanguard party that should be a dictator over everything to wait until the people have the power to take it back. And it's like, well, why give the dictatorship power to begin with? I don't understand.
So they're so far left they swung right again?
Yeah, it's the horseshoe theory.
Yeah.
The idea that the people are too dumb to actually enact communism. So we have to have the smart people in charge, like Stalin, in order to get to communism.
Which backs me up because you have the right wingers from moderate right all the way over who were like, communism's so bad. And I'm like, you all have never seen communism. Communism's literally never happened.
I have. Oh, my country has.
Hanji, did you see your Communist Party come out against gay marriage?
I did, and I was not happy about it.
No, I'm saying we've never seen actual communism at play.
Yeah, no, you're true. You're
But
right.
honestly, the Communism Party in my country is under the Orthodox boot because the state and our prime minister is being more open about the gay community again. One went so far.
You guys
as to
invented
say
being gay.
exactly that's what I'm saying. Like one of our electives even said, "Did you guys forget our history?" And it's only been a problem, and it's only been a problem for 200 years. That is a small time compared to our whole history. So everyone's just like, no, fuck that. That's why the younger generation is turning away from orthodoxy and either going back to the old ways of the gods or just completely not believing in anything. And the older generations, our papus and our yayas are just like, what is going on? And it's just like the younger generation has finally woken the fuck up to this lie.
Because the fact of the matter is, almost every party that's called themselves a communist party has never been communist parties because they've always been authoritarian dictators.
Yeah, they've been MLs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have ever actually been communist parties. And even if there are communist parties, we've still never actually seen communism.
The closest you can look to in the modern day, and Hanji, you
Maybe
can
small
bash me.
communities.
You can bash me if you have a different one. But Centrifa from Spain was probably the closest thing to like actual communism that has gotten
Yeah,
itself.
I can actually agree to that. That's where some of us actually do get our communism from, even though it's a small sect in my country, because we're either Marxist communist or communist. And there's a separation between the two. Like me, I identify as Marxist communist. I'm all down for throwing hands if I need to, but for the right reasons versus just a fascist regime native that the MLs do. I am completely against that. I'm all for defending ourselves, though.
So I'm about to say something that's going to make you hate me, Hanji. I'm an old school social democrat. So your side and my side has had issues in the past as well.
But the thing of it is, though, the democratic socialists and a communist can work together on things.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, I notice European communism is so much different than American communism, or it gets like a bad rep because of what's been fed to the American side. And it's just like, it's a lot deeper than that. Like there's different sections of communism, just like there's different sections of Marxism. But it's just, we're definitely not like Soviet communists, if that's what people think. Like, no, fuck that. Fuck that.
That's
Fuck
just
Mussolini.
it, though. It doesn't matter what communists they think of because there's never been communists. Every single one of them, even the Russian ones, they were never communists. They were still a ruling class. To have communism, you can't have borders, you can't have money, you can't have a government ruling class.
Yep, which is why I tell people, Greece don't got borders. What you mean?
There's quite literally never been communism. So I just don't understand why they bash communism, but I'm just like, because you're only thinking of those parties that have happened that are not actually communists.
Yep.
They were authoritarians and dictators and oligarchs and theocrats, all under the guise of.
Hello.
Hi, James. Are you over 21?
Yes.
All right. And which did you want to talk about? And are you MAGA?
Yeah, I'm MAGA.
All right. And what did you want to talk about?
I just wanted to say how good right now the president is doing for us, Donald Trump.
How is he doing good?
Because he's lowering the taxes now. He's lowering the gas prices.
How is he lowering the taxes?
No plastic straws.
No plastic straws.
That's been around. That's not a thing. Well, how is he lowering your taxes?
Because he's just lowering them.
Plastic straws?
Oh,
Did you really
God.
say that?
Whose tax plan were we on before this, James?
Joe Biden, I think.
Nope.
No.
All right, bye.
The tax plan is voted for every 8 years.
Could you
Trump set the last one, so the last one expired this year.
But so who was it by before?
Before Trump, it was Obama's.
The thing is that whenever a president is elected, and I notice that you guys don't seem to understand this.
He ran fast.
I'm pretty sure he's still listening. When it comes to presidency, the laws of the president during that time frame don't hit effect until the new president or the new election happens, depending on the type of law that's being distributed. Like, for prime example, this Trump tax isn't going to go into effect until possibly 2026 or 2028, because it's going to give a reason, because they know that after Trump is done, they're going to vote Democrat. And once that law hits effect, guess who they're going to blame?
Right.
The Democrats.
Because they know the average person doesn't know it's voted on every 8 years, and they know that the average person is not paying attention to the fact they see the same way they do gas prices. They see a president.
Yep.
And then they see a hiking in whatever price of whatever thing it is, whether it's tax or whatever, and then they automatically assume it's that president's fault.
Which is why everyone thought that, like, if you think about it,
Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes that's the case, depending on what was done. But most of the
that's
time,
what I was going to say, yeah. Because if you think about it, Dugald, look, remember how everyone was just like, oh, his first term, he did great. That's because it was Obama's laws that were now in effect during that time.
Yep.
It wasn't his.
Yes, but a lot of his stuff actually did start to take effect, like toward the very end of his term. The problem is the end of his term, when everything started to go bad, and the recession that was predicted was going to happen, COVID happened.
Right.
Like within a month or two of the effects starting to go down. So all that did was ramp it up, and it was able to be blamed on COVID. So everyone still thought Trump did amazing, but he didn't.
More people see that, the more they'll understand. Hello,
Hey,
Judge. Are you over 21?
And are you a Republican?
For 21.
All right. And did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't. I voted for Chase Oliver.
Who?
Oh.
For Chase Oliver.
I don't know who that one is.
He was a libertarian candidate.
Yeah, third party.
Yeah. I would agree with you for the most. I don't think Trump or Republicans are a party of law and order. I think Trump is a rapist and a felon. I think a lot of I think a lot of Republicans and a lot of people that are in the MAGA side are pretty racist and aren't really patriotic. But I truly do not believe that Trump is a fascist. I think even the concept of C camp, so if we're allowed to say it on TikTok, I don't think that makes someone a fascist. For example,
it's not the concentration camps that do it.
Yeah, but
that's a very small fraction.
I'll just point. That's kind of not. It's not really even relevant to being a fascist because
it's just a repetition of the one that he idolizes. I'm simply saying he is a fascist. The concentration camps are just a hallmark of it and what most people associate with it. That's why I put that.
Sure. But yeah. I would say that for me, because I'm minor in political science, so this is something that I'm definitely spending a lot of time reading about. Yeah. When you really look at fascists and fascist regimes throughout history, there are three things that you will see. You will see them, because there are plenty of bad people that abuse power, that take advantage of like institutions of government and act in an autocratic fashion. That is consistent throughout so many ages in history. Fascism is not as prevalent as that. And let me get to those three elements that I think are pretty unique to fascism. You will see.
You will see. It says the core characteristics are authoritarianism, which he does.
I get that.
Ultranationalism, which he does. Militarism, which is what he does. Suppression of opposition, which he does, and cult of personality, which is completely what MAGA is. So what do you mean?
Allow me to get to the elements that you're not getting. The main things, because this is something that my professor and like you read about in most political science courses. The main things that you'll see in fascism is you will see the core tenets of the ideology. It will go to the working class, to the petty bourgeoisie, and they'll be like, we see your pain. We see the issues that you are having. We see that capitalism is the cause of these issues, and we're going to do things to amend that. For example, Mussolini initiated the first pensions, the first universal pensions in history. Unless you like Count Bismarck or like some of that, but the first universal pensions were initiated by Mussolini.
But that's nothing. Hold on. I need to stop you there because you're going to make a whole bunch of points, and then we're going to have to go back and forth. I just stop there for a second. The problem with that is, though, when you're telling me that the fascism has to include this blame to capitalism, that's just one of the things that they would blame. It tells you here. They basically give you someone to be angry at or something to be angry at. In our case, it's the immigrants. But in other cases, it might have been the capitalist cronies or the oligarchs. Yeah, this means
it always is. Yeah, sure. You can twist it. You can argue that Trump has replaced the bourgeoisie for immigrants and stuff like that, and he's replaced the sure that still flows my argument just fine. Yes, you could argue that, but let me go on. Within those countries, they will go to people that are proletarians, people that are suffering as a result of capitalism. They'll say, we can provide help to you. We'll do things like pensions. But the trade-off of that is that you lose democracy. You lose your voice to engage with the government. With to have a say in how the government acts and operates. Then on the other hand, they will go to corporate interests, to corporations, to the big, powerful sectors of the economy, to bankers and things like that. And they will say, yes, we are addressing these issues with the economy, with pension, and we're interested in welfare, like welfare safety nets, but we're also going to accommodate for you. We're going to allow you and your corporations to do the things you need to do while incorporating massive safety, like welfare, across society as well. Because that's what fascist countries did. Fascist countries were heavy on welfare. Mussolini had massive housing programs.
You're going by the model that they worked with in that country or by those leaders. You're not going by what the actual definition and tenets of fascism are. You're adding nuance to a situation that's not the same here. They're still using the entirety of the framework of fascism. Because their points of interest are different doesn't mean the mechanism of fascism that they're using.
From the same playbook.
There are no historically fascist countries that haven't done the things I'm describing. There are none.
It doesn't matter. That has no bearing on that because fascism in and of itself is all of the key beliefs that it lists out.
I mean, the 14 tenets not even beliefs.
You can look at
I'm very familiar with it. Dude, I am a political. I'm
I don't care what you are. That doesn't.
I know what the 14 tenets are. They are outdated.
That doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean you're correct because you're also going based on bias.
The 14 tenets
literally does not make you correct.
The 14 tenets haven't been used by sociologists really consistently since the 90s.
I'm reading literal sociology papers right now that are giving me the factors, and none of them are mentioning the stuff that you're talking about.
Right, you're making a categorical error.
Right, you're making category errors here.
Okay, who are you reading? Who are you reading in politics?
When that's not what we're talking about.
Who are you reading? Who are you reading that disagrees or is disputing?
These are all various sources that you
like. Roger Griffin. What about Roger Griffin?
Hold on. Shut the fuck up, and I'll tell you. Jesus Christ.
Jeez, starting to sound like a MAGA.
Guys, I gotta go, but Hanji, you and I should have a pagan panel at some point.
Oh, I'm down. Invite me.
Well, I'm probably less followed than you, but I will attempt to do so in the near future. Everyone have a good live and be safe.
You too. I'm gonna follow you, by the way.
You too. I think I already did, but
yep. That's your Bye.
Judge, you know that like groups of cheerleaders could be fascist. Like
that fascism is not just a way.
It doesn't have to apply.
Yes, it does have to. Fascism is a revolutionary ideology. It's not how you govern a society. It's not just how the government works or how you govern people. It's how society operates.
Fucking God.
Oh, he's not listening, is he?
No, but you don't.
Judge, can we define fascism?
Can we define fascism?
Yes, I can define fascism. Really, fundamentally, is the belief that the state is the embodiment of the will of the people, and that all collective action should be under the state. And you cannot have collective action or individual action outside of the state or national interest. Or specifically, in more like national socialism in Germany, the waste or the national identity concentrated around the waste should be the whole entirety of individual effort. Should be so focused towards waste or towards the national identity. This is why fascists denounced hypercapitalism. Like Goebbels had a speech where he strongly spent so much time denouncing the bankers, not just because he thought they were Jewish, which is a fact,
them an enemy, which is part of fascism.
He hated hypercapitalism and individualism. Fascists are
He gave them an enemy, which is part of fascism.
What is part of fascism?
He gave them an enemy. That's part of fascism. He gave the people an enemy.
You can just say it's an enemy, but the issue is
literally the core value.
Yes, I know what you're saying. The issue is what you're not understanding is fascists are also anti-individualist. They don't believe that you should.
Exactly. MAGA is not individuals.
Yes, they are. They are literal
they're not.
If you read,
they're literally a cult of personality.
They are literally neoliberals. MAGA
it's
people
literally
are
a cult of personality.
MAGA is literally a
Trump
neoliberal.
is their personality.
I don't care. Sure, whatever. They are literal neoliberals. Their economic policy is neoliberalism. That is all it is.
No,
Their bill is a neoliberal wish list. That is all it is, fundamentally. It is a neoliberal wish list.
I've looked at 15 different definitions now, and every one of them don't mention a goddamn thing you're talking about. I don't care about that because you're taking
have you looked at a single sociological?
You're taking the the things that they told the people to be mad at and using that as a reason to say that that's why this isn't fascism, when that's just their situation. The actual mechanisms listed throughout the internet that I'm scrolling for when I literally just looked up the word fascism, and that's it. And all of them talk about what the definition, the meaning, the uses, the how, the why, the what, and none of it says it's about anti-capitalism specifically.
I never said it's solely about anti-capitalism.
In terms of the examples that those specific fascists use to get the people motivated behind their cult of personality
There's not been a
to
single,
rally on it.
There's
That's
not
the whole fucking
been a
point.
single fascist movement in history that has been hyper-capitalist or has promoted hyper-excessive capitalism.
Capitalism also by saying you were going for the common people and then appealing to corporate interests, which is exactly what the fuck Trump is
doing. And they
are
not hyper-capitalists. They have centrally planned economies.
Just because they say they're hyper-capitalists doesn't mean anything, Judge. These are literally the people running the government. These are the people who are telling the
issue with that is the economy is centrally planned. They don't allow free markets.
These are the people that are telling the lower class people that you're doing terribly and we want to fix that for you. The immigrants are terrible for you. All this stuff is terrible for you. The economy is so bad, I know you can't afford nothing. They're telling these people this and then turning around and hiring the oligarchs into the capital. They're giving them their money. They're giving them these massive tax breaks and forcing more people down and still have convinced those people that they're not harming them. That is literally a core.
The main thing you're missing.
I never said anything about capitalism. You did.
Yes. Okay. The main thing that you're missing is that the issue is the actual economic policy you're describing is distinct from what fascist policy is.
It's the one you just described. It's literally what MAGA's doing.
It's like you didn't listen to what I said. You're ignoring what I'm saying. It's like you're hearing half of what I'm saying and ignoring the other part.
No,
what
he's
Trump,
not.
What, for example, the Big Beautiful Bill is doing with deregulating parts of the economy is neoliberalism. It is not fascist economic policy. Fascists have heavily centralized
economic policy. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Hey, Aaron. I'm so happy.
Several different things. Thank you. What you're seeing is, are you technically right? Partially. Yes. Does it implore facets of neoliberalism, which is deregulation and privatization? Yes. However, it does not promote free market. Why? Because you see the market manipulation with the tariffs. You see the actual hand of the government that is actually making the markets what it is. That's not a free market system. So Dugald is 100% correct. It's actually a combination of the two, but it is leaning towards the leadership style of a fascist government, which actually will take away the ability to have free markets and will not be neoliberalism. And you know he is correct.
Can I?
They use socialist ways to sway. It's a vehicle. They use the socialism to flex. They use capitalism to flex.
Right.
Literally been my whole point this whole time. Like they're telling people this thing, and that's what you're claiming is the wrong part that makes it not capitalism or not fascism. But then they're doing the other thing that you described, which is appealing to the oligarchs or whoever else, the ruling class, to serve their interests.
So again, as a point, that is one quality of fascism. It's not the entirety of the ideology.
I know, but that's the one you were talking about. So
yes, and you cut me off midway through the conversation while I was describing this thing. So it is difficult when we're just getting hung up on one aspect of a larger ideology.
On the neoliberalism part.
What?
You're the one that got hung up on the neoliberalism and capitalism part.
Because my point is, you cannot be effectuating neoliberal policies and be fascistic. Those two things are diametrically.
And just explain that to you.
No,
it's not. Because no. What you're seeing is, and this is what a master manipulator does. It takes things that you technically cannot define because it doesn't fit into one category. Therefore, it is not that.
Right.
And so, but if you actually paid attention, you will see that it is fascism and a mixture of neoliberalism minus the free market. And then you see the manipulation with the tariffs, you see the manipulation with the threats. Hell, like Deconstruction said below, that's why he's mad at Powell, because Powell won't play into his playbook of manipulating the markets.
Yeah, deregulation could just be
the difference between manipulating markets and central planning, which is essential to like fascist ideology, and also fascists don't ever deregulate any aspect of society. Like for example, if you look something like the Department of Education, when Trump has deregulated and has almost entirely gotten rid of the Department of Education.
You don't think like a billionaire
one fascist country doesn't have centralized education? Where education is not entirely centralized by one governing body. In Italy, in Germany, in Chile, they all had entirely centralized education. There was no there were no individual states warring over different education programs. It was all centralized.
You are fundamentally incorrect.
All over the country.
Schmittler and Mussolini both implored deregulation and privatization. What are you talking about?
Of education?
Okay,
listen.
What are you take education in national social
okay. Hold on, wait, pause.
They were anti-science.
Let's talk about the deregulation of education. It leads to privatization of the educational system.
Education in fascism is not privatized. It's controlled by the state.
It absolutely is.
No.
Okay, see, what you're trying to put a purist argument into a non-purist situation. This is not very much a purist situation. By definition, this is not a purist liberalism movement nor a pure fascism movement. It's a combination of the two. What you're trying to do is you're trying to carve out one definition and say, oh, because it didn't do this exactly, it's not it. And that is disingenuous. It is not.
You can't be partly a fascist. You're either a fascist or you're not a fascist.
Hold on, Judge. You are wrong, because I'm literally looking at various articles about Mussolini himself. I typed in, did Mussolini use deregulation policies? And it says, just the basic overview says, he did use a evolving mix of policies, including elements of deregulation.
I said education.
State control.
Education. That's what
Aaron said, deregulation.
I never disputed that. I was talking about education. Every fascist country in history has centralized education.
Too. What are you talking about? They're trying to change it to fucking make it theocratic, so they put in fucking Bible shit in school.
No.
And did you not forget?
They want education to be a...
Go ahead.
Did you not forget that they burn books, they ban books if you
on the state level, not the national level.
This wasn't a national level. This is a national level. Like what you're arguing against is exactly what happened then and what's happening now. They're using a different title for it, but it's the exact same thing. What happened to all the books about social uprisings and rebellions in 1930s Germany? What is happening here? They are taking away all the books, Animal Farm, and Rant, all the books about going against a powerful government that was removing your rights. These are being bananaed all over the fucking country. What are you talking about?
Let me describe this to you very Aaron, let me describe this to you very clearly. The difference between what you're talking about and what happens in actual fascist countries is you're talking about states making decisions about your education program.
No,
states have different
education.
Allow me to get a few sentences in.
No,
keep interrupting.
You just said something wrong.
And you're spewing bullshit.
Right. The Department of Education is a national agency.
Yes.
And it covered multiple schools through multiple states through its funding. It is decreased education now in many states.
Also, I'm going to speak on this. I'm going to speak on this because Mussolini is a topic right now. My country was under Mussolini during Nazi Germany. What Trump is doing is the exact same shit that fucking Malakia did to mine. So don't sit there and say that he is not fascist when he is playing the Mussolini asshole.
Because you're in one political science.
Allow me to address this. The issue of what you're saying is you are not describing a centralized education system. In Mussolini's Italy and in Mustache Man's Germany, there was no difference between the education in one region of Germany and the other.
What has been the big push in the U.S. for education instead of public schooling? What has been the big push?
And I'm not talking about Italy, I'm talking about
big push, Judge?
For private and homeschooling.
Homeschooling and private schooling, right, exactly. Did you see the intro videos for Project 2025?
Mussolini had state.
Did you see the intro videos for 2025?
I saw them, sure. What?
Okay, the intro videos they even talked about the entire plan. They had schools, private schools, and parents involved in teaching their children a very specific curriculum centered around their values and Christian values.
That is not even remotely the same.
And that is the centralized. That is the centralized, propagandized education that comes with fascism.
No, those are private, individualized forms of education.
They're not privatized ones. They're all involved under the one
fascist education programs are state-run.
There's no way you're in.
You don't even.
No, he's not. He's an undercover fascist.
No fucking way.
Two different things. Fascist education is state-run.
You're literally trying to tell me that the centralized fascist version of schooling that they are setting up currently, right now,
how would they force people to go to
a centralized fascist schooling? How does that make sense?
To choose to be homeschooled.
The executive order ending K through 12 racial indoctrination in schools. It bars the ability to teach any time in history where a race was held over another race. That is slavery. That is Japanese internment camps. That is the HCOS. What is happening at the state levels? State boards are now changing their curriculum to fit the directive from the top. To match this.
States have different
homeschooling curriculum.
Again, Trump has defunded the Department of Education. He defunded the department that you're arguing is trying to
That's literally the point of what we're talking about, Judge.
It is the exact opposite. In Italy and in Germany, education departments were heavily funded.
So he didn't hear what I said about the
millions of dollars. They were
no, he didn't hear a damn thing.
He heard none. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You know, the funny thing is that I'm talking about my country, and he automatically assumes that it was Italy. Yes, we know Mussolini came from Italy, but he came all the way to Greece and tried to push that fascist regime. We had to fight tooth and nail to get him the fuck out. So, even coming from someone who had to deal with a fascist, especially my family, my elder family anyways, because they were alive during that time, I know a fascist when I see one, and Trump is a fucking fascist.
Let me ask you, you're talking about that.
No,
what is
literally telling us that the centralized, the very thing that you're trying to say he's defunded and getting rid of is what he's setting up over here behind the curtains that I'm telling you. That was literally in those videos for Project 2020.
I have watched those videos. Those things are voluntary. Those are voluntary programs that parents choose to join.
They're not voluntary if it's under the Project 2025. That's
yes, they are. You think they're just going to force parents to join to homeschool their kids? No.
They had two choices, a charter private school, which is set curriculum by them, or homeschool, which is set curriculum by them.
So in 1970s, the Supreme Court ruled that no one has the right to an education. When you defund the Department of Education, which funds Title I schools, especially in rural America, which is the only reason why some counties even have schools. When you remove that and you take those funds and you create a voucher system that will now fund private education, which was previously barred, it absolutely is privatizing education. It is doing every. Shut up! I'm speaking. Your words should not be touching mine.
That part, he's listening to respond.
Doing exactly what the fascist regime did in history. The fact that you don't have the bandwidth or the understanding to see beyond your point because you're so loud and wrong it's concerning to me. But it is a step-by-step process. No one.
I believe she's still speaking. Shut the fuck up.
We didn't vote for Trump. My brother, who has my niece and my nephew, their parents did not vote for Trump, but they are being forced to choose because of the choices that the administration from the top has made the states accept. And if you don't think that is centralizing power to where you cannot disagree, you cannot go away, you have control of the courts, then you need to take another political science class because you are wrong in this.
Let me ask you this. What fascist country can you think of where education was privatized? Ever?
I didn't claim privatization. I said centralized and mandated.
Yes, exactly. Right. You cannot privatize education and be a fascist.
I told you it's not about privatizing, but yes,
you just said that Trump is privatizing education.
I didn't say that.
America is different.
You are not listening.
Right. But I'll give you an example in America.
It's not even centralized.
I'll give you an example in America. America, the Supreme Court, the top judge in our nation said that no one has the right to a equal education, that states or local municipalities only have to give rationale for what they do. That is law on the books. When you defund Department of Education, which mandates IEPs, 501 plans, as well as provide fundings for impoverished areas. If those schools go away because of lack of funding, and they have no choice but to either take a school voucher for a private school, which can still deny your access to education, this is privatizing education because you have broken the system so much that the only part of the system that works is private education.
And every fascist leader has always made sure that very specific portions of his countries or their countries got a specific education, and everybody else who was too poor was either in a camp or they were living a life of work. Let me ask you this. Which is why they've been lowering the work age across the fucking nation.
Yep.
So that they can supplement for all the immigrants they're tossing out.
First of all, the biggest issue that you're missing here is historically fascists improved welfare programs. Like, as I pointed out, Mussolini was the first person to have universal.
For the people loyal to them, absolutely.
No, it was a national program.
Will do. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a national program. Mussolini had a universal.
We're not in the national body.
Trump is not doing that. Trump is not like expanding the social.
I didn't say he was, but I said he will when everybody that he doesn't like is under control or gone.
That was one of the first policies Mussolini initiated.
That's literally what they did later on.
No, Mussolini's first policies were social safety net policies. Like, I don't think in the 1930s.
No, you gotta quit doing that, dude. Just because they did it their way doesn't mean they're still not employing the overall mechanism of fascism. You're stuck on these tiny little details that each one of them did.
He's a Mussolini D-writer is what he is.
No, Mussolini was an evil man.
You're not fucking listening again. I'm fucking talking. You said a thing and I'm responding to it. You said that because it didn't go in this specific order, he's not fucking doing this, or that. Doesn't matter. The main parts of fascism are a mechanism, or each individual mechanisms, to get control and do as pleased to get the authoritarian consolidated power.
And fascism is authoritarian consolidated power. Is that what you're describing it?
It requires a dictator in the center.
Yes, but that is not
Requires ultra-authoritarianism.
It's the main
That's
element
literally
that
in
you're
the
missing is
definition of it.
collectivism.
It's
Fascists are
literally in the
collectivized
definition of.
states. They focus on
Why are
collectivism.
you here if you're just going to talk over literally everybody because you want to scream out your point? You haven't listened to anything anybody
And you
said.
refuse to listen
And
to any
that's
of my
why I'm
points,
yelling
dude.
and screaming.
Shut
because
up,
you
Mussolini
literally are not listening.
sympathizer.
Because you took like 1 or 2 fucking political science classes and you think you're the fucking know-it-all. But you are fucking wrong. You're literally nitpicking about little shit that they decided to do within their country to get the ball rolling. This country's different. They're going to have to modify things a little bit, but they're still using the key main parts. Ultranationalism, militarization, a dictator in the fucking middle, all the above. Just because they're not employing these various welfare things at this moment that you're worried about doesn't mean it's still not fascism. Because nowhere in any of these fucking articles that I was prepared to pull up for you did it talk about the fucking welfare system. They're talking about the mechanisms to gain the control. That's what fascism is. After that, it's a fucking dictator doing whatever the fuck he wants to.
That is not true. Your objective
It's literally how it's fucking always gone.
I've described to you dozens of examples.
You have fucking been wrong about all of them, or you have just described what fucking MAGA does.
No, okay, by your definition you gave.
All right,
By definition you gave.
No, guys. All right, chat.
It's gonna mute me every time I try to
am going to mute you.
I am going to mute you. I am going to
Everybody
mute
in
you.
chat, give me a 1 in the chat if he literally has been describing MAGA the whole time, and if
Oh,
he's
he
just
definitely
nitpicking.
has.
Into what?
Yeah,
I swear he probably makes out with that fascist Mussolini in his sleep.
There it is.
That's
all
why
the
he's
ones.
writing that D so hard for him.
All the ones. Because you have a political science class, you know better than literally everybody because of little too nitpicky things that you're bringing up that literally
You
are
said that.
part
Why
of
do you have
fascism.
to?
Because that's literally what. Am I crazy?
Can I talk as somebody who's
No,
like,
you're not crazy. Go ahead, Mika.
Why?
Go ahead, Mika. I'll keep him muted.
Okay. So, as somebody who is directly affected by fascism as a trans disabled person, okay, this is not a theoretical or hypothetical conversation for me. This is something that is real life.
Amen.
All right.
No home training. He doesn't know how to stay mute. Continue, Mika.
So, you keep trying to make it about economic policy and centralization, which is understandable because you're a libertarian and that's your focus. But the social aspects of fascism, the authoritarianism, the populism, the idea that there is a national body of people that are the real true patriots, and then there are people who are not the real true patriots. That is what fascism is. And as somebody who is trans and disabled, I am multiply targeted by the state, a fascist state, because I am seen as less productive for their society. I am seen as somebody who is outside of the gender norms, and that is bad because gender norms are good for capitalism. It's not about whether it's anti-capitalist or not. That's one embodiment of fascism, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, immigrants and trans people are the scapegoats. And this is not just a fun thought experiment. This is real life. This is actually happening. I may not be able to get my hormones if certain things happen, you know? So I don't think that you can say that Trump is not a fascist when he is writing executive orders to dictate what gender people can be and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything about that that's not fascist.
I sympathize with what you're going through.
I invited you up, Sway. I invited you up before. You were spinning. The fuck are you talking about?
I sympathize with what you're going through, but you're not describing fascism. That's totalitarian when you micromanage that society. Like, yeah, Trump is a totalitarian, sure. But he's not a fascist. He doesn't believe in a collectivized society. Doesn't believe that individual endeavors should be suppressed and should be directed solely towards the state and national interests. That's not the Trump
Yes,
support.
he does.
He does because he wants to interfere with democracy. Like he wants
Trump
to.
is
Holy shit. Can we just hold on? We all heard that bullshit, right?
Yes.
Or is it just me? Okay.
Literally what he's doing.
Describe how Trump believes that every individual endeavor and every individual action in the economy should be directed solely towards national interests. That's what
the
he
national interests are to the oligarchs who currently run the country, and that's who's getting all the stuff. What are you talking about?
When his interests and the national interests align,
the economy should solely.
When your interest and the national interest align, think about it.
No, you shouldn't even have individual interest. The individual interest in the fascist is the national
back and
interest.
forth on
It's
what
nothing
this
else.
means, and every time it's some nitpicky weird thing.
No, this is the essence of what it is.
Describe what
It's
MAGA is doing, and it's fucking
the
weird.
essence of what fascism is.
Because he's low-key a MAGA. He just doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah. I don't know any libertarians that ride this hard for Trump.
He said he voted for the libertarian candidate.
Well, then okay, so libertarians believe in limited government, right?
I'm not even a libertarian. I voted for Chase Oliver because I agree with him more on issues. But I agree with Chase Oliver more because I agree with Trump and Harris. Right? I don't
voted for the libertarian candidate.
So you voted for a Democrat with just one extra issue.
I don't think you could consider Chase Oliver to be a Democrat.
Chase Oliver was a Democrat until a year and a half ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think he's a lot more than a Democrat with one extra issue. There are a lot of things he would disagree with Democrats on. He's not.
No, he used to vote alongside them, and then when he wanted to make a name for himself, he's from Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from, and he added one additional issue, and then said, even though I have voted against for these things all my adult life, now I don't, and now I'm setting myself apart from Democrats, even though I agree with most of the stuff that they do.
Sure, if that's how you want to phrase it,
you clearly didn't research your candidate
that way.
You clearly didn't research the history of your candidate.
I'm aware that he was a Democrat before. Did I deny that? You're phrasing it in the most like unfavorable way possible. But sure, yeah.
Literally did.
I didn't deny he was a Democrat. Like, what are you talking about?
See, this is what happens when people read one, two.
When did I say he wasn't a Democrat?
I'm a woke, but I'm not a leftist books, and they think they know everything, but they don't understand what they're reading in the context of the history that they're seeing in front of.
I don't like you're having this argument, and the basic elements of the argument you're describing, like actual idealism, like national syndicalism, I don't even heard or like understand. So I'm trying to have discussion, but you're like ignoring basic elements of this conversation.
You're ignoring basic elements because what you're trying to do is I'll say it again. Mm-hmm. You're trying to bring a purist argument to a situation that is not pure. He is not a full totalitarian. Mm-hmm. He is not a full fascist. He is not a full neoliberal. Mm-hmm. He is a mixture of these. But because you are taking a purist look at this, you keep denying everything else.
And I told you that this right here was...
Yeah, Aaron, let me say this to you. Saying that someone can be a neoliberal and a fascist at the same time is like saying that someone can be a hyper-capitalist and a Marxist at the same time. They are diametrically
talked
opposed.
About them using...
They are diametrically opposed.
You literally talked about that before. They use aspects, every fascist has used aspects of various systems to gain the control needed to implement the plans.
Not of neoliberalism. They are diametrically opposed.
It doesn't matter.
They are diametrically opposed.
No, hold on, Judge. Here's the problem. It's just like the people who call democratic socialists. It's not the same thing. Just because the words are there or being used, or parts of that thing are being used, doesn't mean, like, I personally am an independent, moderate, left-leaning socially left-leaning person. Like, there are elements of multiple things in there that are allowed to be used, but ultimately I'm still just an independent, right? Trump, being a fascist, can use little parts of all other things to get the control he needs because he's still fulfilling the core values and the core parts of fascism. It doesn't matter.
Again, this is like saying a Marxist can employ.
It's kind of like why
elements.
To your point, Dugald, it's why he was able to speak to so many different people.
Right.
Because it's a lesson in demography. If you look at George Wallace, right? Because he also employs a lot of what George Wallace did. He takes things, he's like Drake. He takes things from everyone that he liked to create his persona. So Drake is part rapper, He's part, I would say porn star, part pop star,
did
part
have a tape.
actor. All of these things individually are true, but together it creates the person who is Drake. So what we're trying to get you to understand, if you let go of your purist ideology, you will be able to see he is all of these things to create what is Trumpism.
For example, his first tax policy gave massive cuts to the working class, the welfare part, right? Then it was on a sliding scale. Those taxes went slowly up as those 8 years that the tax plan existed happened. And everybody got mad because the last 4 years is when the biggest hikes happened, which happened to be during Biden's presidency. So everybody got so mad at Biden because they all claimed it was his tax policy. The taxes are voted on every 8 years. Trump set that up. It was literally a little bit of all those things to ultimately get to the destination of having the control. That's literally what fascism's for. It's to gain control. It's a mechanism, and it's a multi-layered, multifaceted mechanism.
It's not a mechanism. You're getting the wrong. Fascism is a revolutionary ideology. When you're a fascist, you don't just want to change the government.
Because it's an ideology does not make it not a mechanism.
I plead.
Are we done with him? Because he's literally not listening at this point.
The semantic jungle that
bye-bye.
he goes through is wild.
I mean, if he couldn't relate after the Drake example, I can't help him.
Right.
Perfectly explained.
Circles. Like, he kept getting pinned down on those little things. Like, those things aren't the points of fascism. They're not the main core tenets of it. He was like, well, I argue with my political science professor all the time. Like, that doesn't make you right.
Right.
It's definitely giving libertarian for Trump vibes.
Because I don't know that your professor was agreeing with you or telling you you were fucking dumb.
Dum, 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 dum.
The fuck does that mean to me? All right, Sway, are you over 21?
By
Yeah, boss, I'm 29.
All right, perfect. Which topic did you want to do?
The concentration camp one. Did you already talk about that?
Yeah, that's what we're yelling at him about, but that's only because he tried to tell us what fascism was when it was literally not what fascism was. But you can talk about it.
So
I promise I won't yell as long as you don't, all right?
Fine, I'll show you the same respect. So is Alligator Alcatraz the concentration camp y'all talking about?
It's
one
the
of
beginning.
Oh, you mean alligator Auschwitz? Yes.
Yeah, that's one of two. There's another one, though.
All right, yeah, so that's probably my first, I guess, issue with it. I feel like if I was Jewish and people were comparing illegal immigrants.
Well, here, all right, I'm going to stop you, Sway, real quick.
Oh, I can't finish? All right, go ahead.
Only for my live, just because I want to cut some things out real quick because I already know what you're going to say because I heard this argument just a little while ago. Here's the problem. We have a lot of Jewish people in our community, the community I'm part of, it's called the Deconstruction community, people who are deconstructing from their religion. But anyway, aside from that, we also have a lot of rabbis in there, and one of them is world-renowned scholar, well-known lady. But like all of them, we've talked to a lot of them about this, and none of them feel that way. None of them feel that way because they understand that it is the same thing.
Literally.
They were the ones that were like warning us.
They pointed it out.
Yeah, they're the ones that pointed it out to us.
So what I'm saying is maybe I don't know my history because like I don't see him thrown in gas chambers. I don't see him being experimented on.
Actually,
I don't see him. Can I please finish? Bro, I let y'all talk and I was respectful. I can't finish.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm going to add to that real quick.
Can I please finish? I wasn't done. I wasn't done.
Well, she wanted to finish her point to what I had said, and then she was going to let you talk. I'm so sorry, Sway.
Yeah, anyways, they actually have been bringing burners into the encampment that can actually fit 3 people at a time.
The incinerators, yeah, that is a new. Sway, now you can come undone because she didn't want to forget at that point. That's so my apologies, but go ahead.
Yeah, so my point is not to invalidate how y'all feel about Trump or you saying he's a fascist. I'm just saying to directly compare to like some of the most heinous figures, in history. It's just I just don't understand why do we have to run straight to the extreme, especially because I'm black. Right. So hold on, let me finish. Especially because I'm black. So it's like when people call Trump the N-word or they call him the K word, it's like yo, do y'all understand what black people and gay people and trans people and anybody that wasn't white Aryan in America went through? And so when you compare that, it's almost like it's a direct comparison. And I know it's not, because we all know they didn't go through the same things that the blacks went through. The Jews. But when you straight go for like the N word or the K word, it's like, it's hard to feel that. You know what I mean?
May I ask you a question?
Here, can I put it in context for you? Do you mind?
Please.
Right. First and foremost, let me let you know, I am personally, I'm a gay man. So I understand what you're talking about. But here's the problem. The people who pointed out that these are concentration camps are Jewish people. They're the first people that were out there screaming, y'all, something's wrong. Followed by Germany itself, just so you know, by the way.
Germany was...
And the Holocaust Museum put a warning out after the election that said that, well, actually this year, that we were moving towards a fascist regime, number one.
Right.
Number two, the first concentration camp was not in Germany. It was in Poland.
Exactly.
What do you think? Hold on. What do you think CCOT is?
Yeah.
Remember, the whole premise of the Mustache Man was to identify an enemy, the Jewish people, rally the country against these people because they're coming for your jobs, they're coming for your children, they're coming for your women. You make them illegal, you make them carry papers. And then, but we forgot about the beer posh where he tried to overthrow the government. Once he was elected chancellor, he then pardoned all the people that were convicted of taking part in the beer posh. He then hired those people to work in his government and hired them as the Gestapo. Does this sound familiar to anything that's happening in America in 2025?
Yes, I for sure see the similarities.
Then, after you arrest these people simply for being here what you call illegal or not having the correct paperwork, you then arrest them and you detain them without due process. Now that the jails are full and the detention centers are full, you build a facility that is only for these people you have identified as the enemy. And how does this relate to black people? As a black one myself, the name Alligator Alcatraz, let me show you a picture really quick. Because you don't understand what's happening, right? Hold on, I'm getting my picture to show you.
The food thing, yeah.
Hold on, picture.
Wait, we're just trying to put the context of the camp itself and what we've been and how we've perceived it. So once we get that out there for you, because that's what we said we were going to do first, then I'll happily let you respond. I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. Alligator Alcatraz. In the early 1900s in this country, black babies were fed to alligators and used as bait. You then have Lauren Loomer tweeting out a relation to this, that alligators are now going to have 65 million meals. Because Ron DeSantis said if people escape from this, they will have to deal with the alligators.
And so how many Latino, and hold on, and do you know how many Latino people in general, overall, illegal or not, are in America right now, Sway? I do want you to
I can't tell you the number. I would have to look it up. I don't have something like that memorized.
65 million.
So there absolutely is a reason why people are connecting the dots, because we always ask ourselves, how did they allow that to happen? But when you employ the same tactics of the Mustache Man, by dehumanizing a group of people, by calling them illegal, now every time you see a Spanish-speaking person at work, you automatically think that they are illegal. Therefore, you are okay with the inhumane treatment because you have dehumanized them.
Set up a hotline so that they can be identified and picked up.
It's the Mustaches Man playbook to the letter of the law, including getting generals out of the military and replacing them with loyalists.
On top of that,
one quick
thing. It's not hyperbolic.
And then to finish it off, Sway, and then I'll let you respond. the camp itself, or the prison as they're trying to call it, they have recently found that they have purchased incinerators for it. Why would you need an incinerator? That's big enough for the job, you know. The actual setup, the comparison between Auschwitz and this camp, they've done side-by-side videos of the inside, eerily similar. Only difference is wood versus metal. There's just a lot of similarities, Sway. Like, there's a lot of them, buddy. All right, go ahead. You can respond now, I promise. Go ahead and get your thing out, and then, Finn, I'll let you come in.
Yeah, so can you provide a link or something for the incinerator? Because I just fact-checked it and it said that was a rumor. So I just want to see where you got the facts
I
from.
sure can.
A picture of it. Hold on, I'll have to get it back. It might be in the works or a rumor of, but I did hear that they had already purchased them. So, and even if they didn't, you can still look at the
Video
inside.
on it. There's a whole video on it that I actually have, but I'll go ahead and get that information.
All right.
Gets into food, removing your Bibles, removing your religious text. Does that sound?
Oh yeah, those are the reports from the inmates who did get out or happened to get talked to. Maggots in the food.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as that, y'all directly gonna compare me to the H guy, but if you ain't a citizen, I don't think you get due process. I don't care.
Well,
But that's not the law of the
Constitution
land.
says otherwise.
Right.
Unconstitutional.
Whether you like that or not, that's still the
And
Constitution.
in the Constitution, it said my people were 3/5, so can't believe everything in
And
there.
then they scratched that out and they changed it, right?
Right.
If they changed it, we can just forget about it. Gotcha.
Well, no,
that's not
but
what
I'm a black
anybody
woman in
said, so
America
hold on.
as well. But that's a lazy argument.
Yeah,
They
it's
did
like
it to
nobody
me,
said
so
that.
you can do it to them. That's a lazy
No, if
argument.
the Constitution is a lazy argument, then we both should stop
No,
using it. Both
you
sides.
are. What you're doing is a lazy argument.
Right.
Rights are you willing to take? Exactly. Like, where do you think you draw the line on how many rights you're okay denying to people, Sway?
Right.
So look, the reason why I'm so extremist is because you got to. Okay, look, I'm from San Francisco, born and raised in California, Blue State, right?
Okay.
So the alternative. Can I finish? So the alternative is we do nothing, right?
We were asked.
We do nothing.
We did ask
This
you a
is
question.
sanctuary state,
and it
sanctuary
wasn't
country.
this.
People could just come in whenever. I don't support that.
That's literally how it's always worked up until the 50s.
And
anyway.
I don't support it.
Okay.
So then you
what?
would.
It's
So
still
you.
not the law of
So
the
this
land.
one I understand. You are literally
I'm
supporting.
not the only
Southern-
person who feels this
you,
way.
You
That's why
mentioned you're
Trump
a
got
black.
voted into president.
You're not the majority, though.
Right. You mentioned that you're a black.
The majority when the majority literally voted Trump.
No,
No, they
they
didn't.
didn't. The majority stayed home. 90 million people stayed home. So that's not a mandate, right? That's a talking point that they try to give you. 90 million people didn't vote.
He only
had
won by
77
1%
million
of the
people who
that did
voted.
vote. He
That's
literally
not
had
a majority.
1% win.
Kamala should have won then. Where was y'all at?
So
Where was your support? Y'all should have
you
won.
see how
It's
you're
rigged that
the
Elon
goalposts?
automatically admitted that fact. Fen, I saw your hand raised, and then Jeff, I know you want to say something. You rarely come up here.
Yeah.
Fen, go ahead, and then Jeff, you're next.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up and point out, like, these are not, like, out-of-hand parallels that we're seeing. There's even people, I'm sure it's been brought up earlier, I don't know if it was while Sway's been on the panel, but there are MAGA people that are saying that they're starting to believe that they were on the wrong side of history by going to war against H-Man. Because they are hearing his speeches translated into English, and what they are hearing is a mirror of their own belief and worldview. Christian values, the importance of women, so on and so forth, and they are saying on TikTok, for all to see, I'm starting to wonder if we were on the wrong side of history when they went to fight Germany in the 40s. That's the world we live in. It's already happening.
Oh yeah, it's a huge trend of a whole bunch of right wingers. They listened to the translated speech that Hitler gave or Spitler gave. God damn it! Sorry, I love TikTok Shop. And they're like suddenly like, oh, well, shoot, that sounds about right. What the fuck? Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Jeff. Cook. Also, hello, darling.
Howdy, everybody.
Hey, friend.
Hi, Jeff. It's nice to see you. Bye, everybody. I'm just going to open it up for everybody else. I'll be around.
Thanks for hanging out.
So, Sway, you don't think that non-citizens should have due process, correct?
Correct.
Here's the question. How do you determine if someone is a non-citizen?
Those as simple as papers. You tell me.
I'm just going to ask the question again.
Okay, I got a social and a birth certificate. That's how you determine social and a birth.
Do you carry those around?
I don't know why you're yapping like a parakeet right now. I'm just going to ask the question again. Don't get triggered.
Because you asked me a question, so I'm answering it.
Hold on.
Do you not want me to answer the question?
Why are you?
I have a social and a birth certificate is not the answer to the question. I'm just going to ask the question again. How do you determine if someone is a non-citizen?
Oh, you said how you determine if they're a non-citizen?
Yeah. That's who doesn't get. Everybody, hold on. I just want to make clear, just at the beginning, everybody gets due process except non-citizens.
Believe. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I believe.
No, well, we know it's not true because when they tried to point it out to you that, like, what would it be based on if you believed it?
What will what be based on?
Your belief that non-citizens don't get due process.
Dog. I come from the simplest belief.
Bro.
Yeah, I can't say dog. That's my slang.
My man.
Like, you gonna talk down
What
to
up,
me?
my nigga? I don't care about none of that. Listen.
What? You just used the N-word. That's crazy.
I'm a black man, you idiot. I'm going to start again.
Crazy. Yeah, but that don't make it right. We got to keep it alive. Cool, so he don't get banned.
Hey, TikTok.
When it comes from somebody of that community,
Yeah,
they don't care.
exactly. When it
I
comes
say
from
it
us,
on
they
my
don't
live
care.
all the time. Look, it's just he's
Oh,
a snowflake.
I say the N-word? Oh, it's lit. Okay, I didn't know.
To another, like between y'all, not.
No, it's good. I didn't know. That's why I asked. I didn't know I had that.
Now here. If you believe,
like, I know we got different views, but y'all respectful. I respect this one.
If you believe that everybody should get due process except for non-citizens, what are you basing that belief on?
I'm basing the belief on that, in my personal opinion, my personal worldview, I have grew up in a country that has prioritized everybody as except their own citizens. So for me, I'm coming from a simple am I going to prioritize somebody that's a citizen or somebody that isn't? And then you can see it's easier for me to come up with that answer, right?
Cool. That's perfect. So you base it on your personal belief. So now we know you're not basing your worldview. So truth has nothing to do with it. It's just the truth of your belief. And I'm okay with that.
No, bro. If I literally say we should prioritize citizens over non-citizens, is that not true?
No. No, it's not.
Saying that's my belief. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's my belief. All right,
that's your belief, and that's fine. That's fine. So now, based on your worldview, how can we tell who is a non-citizen?
Well, so if we're going based off my worldview, I mean, you can't, right? Unless you got the papers. I mean, I don't know how you gonna just look at somebody and be like, oh, that's a citizen or not. What I got, like this robot in my brain that know, like, how you gonna know? I just say papers. That's why I said
the clause that's hidden into my question is how can you tell who's a non-citizen without violating the due process of citizens?
Literally said due process will get violated. So this is what y'all can't understand, that no process is perfect. So would I rather have a process that ain't perfect and have casualties on the way than do nothing? Yes, I'd rather have casualties.
So you'd rather violate the due. So now we got that clear. We can violate the due process of citizens in order to get rid of the non-citizens.
Happens all the time when people get locked up and lose all their rights.
Look, we're not talking about what happens all the time. I don't care about what happens all the time. We were just talking about the H cost, and those things happen all the time. So now here's the fun part, right? If you're okay with violating, because look, I'm also a Hispanic man, in addition to a black man. So if you're okay with violating my due process to get your fifis in a bunch, why should I
understand what that means? Fifis in a bunch. You gotta elaborate.
Your feeling, your emotions, your sense of security or whatever. Why should I care?
I know y'all don't care. I knew what this live was before I joined.
No. Look, if you knew what the live was and you knew we weren't going to care anyway, you would not have hit the request button. By hitting the request button, you have tacitly agreed to a project. And the project is you're going to tell us your belief and you're going to give us a rational reason why we should believe it too.
Just because I tell something to somebody doesn't mean they're obligated to care.
No. They're not obligated. Look, if I told you that drinking Clorox bleach could unalive you and you want to stay alive, now you have all of a sudden a vested interest, right? That's your job, right? If you're just going to tell me I don't like immigrants because I don't like them and I don't want them. I feel like black people.
I never said that.
I feel like black people were deprioritized by the government, and now they're giving all this.
I said
stuff.
Americans, not black Americans.
Well, that's also not true because we treat foreigners. We've always treated foreigners worse than we've treated citizens. Always, 100% of the time. And I know that because we were foreigners. You see, like when we were brought here, we weren't citizens. We were foreigners. So you could take an average of a snapshot of the entire nation's history. We've always treated foreigners worse than what we consider a citizen.
You're saying America takes care of its citizens. They take care of their people.
Better than they do the rest of the world? Yes.
That's crazy because if you talk to a veteran or anybody that ain't white, I'm pretty sure they'll tell you something different. But yeah.
Okay. No. They'll say I don't. They'll say I don't feel taken care of.
Somebody that isn't straight.
They'll say, "Let's hold on. They will say I don't feel taken care of, but then go look overseas. Did you know that if you look up the casualty numbers for the time that we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, you don't get numbers, you get ranges?
We were terrible during Afghanistan. I know. That's Bush administration.
That was not Bush administration.
You're talking about the Iraq war, right?
Iraq and Afghanistan, that's Bush, that's Obama, that's Trump, and that's Biden.
Yeah, but it started with Bush is what I'm saying, but yeah.
It started with Daddy Bush.
Yeah, I was gonna say it started with Bush Senior.
Yeah, it started with Bush.
Like I was in elementary school and that motherfucker came out like, "Hey guys,
yep,
I was born yet.
we gonna run over to Iraq for I don't know why, and we gonna take their oil."
All I thought was, hey, we got some Desert Storm we gotta go do, or go handle.
I didn't agree with that war at all. It's just a waste of money.
But it does show that we treat foreigners worse than we treat citizens, yes?
I don't see how when it seems like they get all the fun, all the aid, and then we got people here that's homeless, we got people here that's cracked out, fed no out, can't even get housing, can't even get jobs. So it's just like, all I'm saying is, I'm not disagreeing. I just wish that this country were prioritizing citizens more. That's the plain reason why I literally switched over to Trump.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
That's not a bug, that's a feature, but
you said why does it have to be one or the other, Dugald? No, I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying when have we been prioritized?
What? But here's the question: what aid?
That's my simple question.
Always, the people who are considered citizens here are always prioritized. But what aid is being given to foreigners?
So you telling me that if you're a legal citizen in this country, you're not going to get no programs, you're not going to get no rights, you're not going to get no jobs, no offer for housing, nothing?
What?
I don't know how that answers my question.
Is it perfectly? If you're a legal
it can't
immigrant,
possibly. No. It can't possibly answer my question because that was a question.
What kind of aid are they getting that we're not?
You want me to repeat myself? I just said it. Food, welfare.
We get food.
Housing.
There's welfare here. There's
jobs.
Housing. There are housing programs here. There are job programs here. I don't know what's difficult. Like
none of those things are being funded by the Trump administration anyway. So like. I
never said it was. My point is that people that aren't citizens get prioritized more than the people that are.
Why can't you show me that? You're just saying words.
Where is that happening?
I just gave y'all examples.
No, you didn't. You gave us programs that exist for other citizens as well.
Yeah, let's go point by point. Are you saying that foreign-born, undocumented or documented migrants that come here and are not citizens get more access to housing than citizens do?
Housing, food,
let's start with housing.
Yes.
Don't go with housing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Show me that because they can't apply for.
In New York, they literally had to shut down a hotel that was only literally carrying immigrants. What are we talking about?
Hold on, Sway. You do know the reason for that was because those immigrants were shipped there by one of the red states, and they had to find somewhere emergency to put them.
They had housing. I answered your question.
It was an emergency thing. They didn't ask to be there.
Why would you want to live?
Why would you want a whole bunch of people living on the street?
It's like Why would I choose to live like a refugee?
There's a bunch of American citizens living on the street.
I'm
I used to be
talking
one of them.
literally a truckload on top of the ones that are already there. That's what they were trying to get rid of. Plus,
nobody told you to come here.
They didn't.
Hold on. Really, just
I told them to come here. Nobody.
There's too much emotion, and my socio is going crazy. It's boring. There are 208 shelter facilities reported by the New York City Department of Homeless Services. That's just run by the city. That's not even counting the private organizations, with 18,616 beds. Now, the fact that capitalism breeds scarcity and scarcity breeds poverty and poverty breeds homelessness, and there's too many to fit in those beds, that's a separate thing. But you called out one hotel. What's the next thing? So it's not housing.
So you really want me to research every housing program that's available for illegal immigrants?
You need to.
All right, bro, I don't even think we got the time, y'all. So then, if I can't do that, then okay, you got it. I'm wrong.
Hold on. Sway,
I don't got the time to look up that.
Sway.
That's your problem.
I know you're not a snowflake.
You said y'all was right. Cool.
Sway, pause for a second. I know you're not a snowflake, but I don't know why you're portraying yourself as one. I don't care that you're like allergic to work. We live in the information age. If you wanted to research this, you could do that, and it would take you less than 30 minutes. It's not something that would take you all day.
No.
Dog, I'm not going to take 30 minutes away to research something. Y'all going to be on a whole new topic by then.
Okay, good. No,
I'm saying right now.
Before you hit the
thing y'all saying right now, I'm like, no, I can't do it right now, bro. We talking. I'm just say I don't know. I have no problem saying I don't know.
I got you. Okay, so, but we know it's not housing.
Right.
Wait, so you saying there isn't housing for illegal immigrants?
Not
on a federal level.
Not to the level that there is for citizens.
Right.
Okay, so we'll take that, and now I have a homework. I got a research project, so appreciate that.
Okay, cool. And also by the numbers, there isn't. Like, if you look at even what the FEMA budget is specifically earmarked for undocumented migrants versus what their budget is for citizens, like, it's a drop in the bucket. Like, it doesn't, you would laugh at yourself. So it's not housing. Okay, cool. So what was the next thing you said? Welfare. What do you consider welfare?
Hey, I'm going to just say I was wrong because I can't look up the information, and I know y'all going to want me to fact check everything. So you got it.
It's not I got it. Here's what I want you to recognize, Sway. If you have a belief in your head,
me as an American citizen, if I believe this or feel this way, it got to come from something.
I'm gonna. I don't want you to talk while I'm talking.
It come from thin air.
Look. It came from your bias. It's fine. If you have a belief and you can't show it to me, why you believe it, then it's just a bias you have. Did you research it before? Was this something that you researched in the past?
The only reason I'm a Trump supporter now is because I did research. What are we talking about?
So what did you research?
Immigration policy was the first thing. The Epstein file was the second thing, and I'm actually pissed off because he didn't do the second thing.
I guarantee you haven't. I guarantee you haven't. I'm willing to bet any amount of money.
Bet money what?
That you haven't.
Then what?
Research immigration policy.
So, boss, if you're going to ask me and then not believe what I'm saying, then once again, you got it.
No.
How
We're going to demonstrate.
I just came up to talk. If you want to just punch on me, that's fine. But I came up to get my side.
Oh my God, this snowflake shit is so boring. Stop being a snowflake.
That's literally all liberals do.
You're just whining, right? If you want to punch on me because I'm such a victim, I'm not. I don't say it. Dugald, you've known me for a while.
Bold of him to assume we're liberal.
Have you guys ever known me to say something and then not back it up?
Never.
All right. Watch this, Sway. You said there are illegal immigrants here. Yes? Sway?
Understand?
Yes.
Okay. What makes an immigrant illegal?
So if you go into a country and you weren't born there, you're considered an immigrant. Now, whether or not it's illegal or legal depends on the jurisdiction of that country.
Okay, let's talk about the country we're in right now, the United States. I love how I ask. Okay, I got to be more specific. This is my fault, Sway. I apologize. In the United States, what makes an immigrant illegal?
If they come into the country and they weren't born here.
That makes them an immigrant. What makes it illegal?
Oh, so if you don't have if you don't have the green card, or if you don't do the due diligence to get your papers, then you're currently illegal in the country, because there are people who were immigrants. We're talking Mexican, African, all different, all nationalities that actually did the time to get their paperwork. And so it's almost unfair to them, because it's like, why'd I got to go through all this just to become a citizen and y'all can just stay free?
All right, cool. The answer should have come in the form of it's illegal because insert law here says it's illegal. So let's try again. What makes it illegal?
I just told you.
No. Remember, I corrected you. I said you should say it is illegal because insert law here. Those usually come in like USC, HB, SB. This law says it's illegal. That's the part that you missed. Because right now, the answer you gave me is, I think it should be illegal because it feels unfair. I think speed limits are unfair.
I didn't say feel. I literally said if you have papers or not. Like I didn't say no feelings.
That's great. I don't care about fair. I care about law. So are you telling me the law is always fair? I know you're not saying that. Okay, good. You're not saying it. I didn't say you said that. I was just asking. I was making sure that I wasn't a misunderstanding. So since we know that the law is not always fair, fair has nothing to do with it. So what makes an immigrant illegal?
You asked me the same question 3 times. So if the first 2 answers wasn't it, then I can't think that any other answers is going to satisfy what you're trying to do.
Okay, how about this?
So you don't know the law is what the point is.
See if you agree with this. An immigrant is a migration is illegal if it breaks some law about migration. Is that fair?
It's illegal if you break the law?
Yes, that's what illegal means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I agree that if you break the law, that you're illegal. Yes.
Okay, great. Name an singular one immigration law.
No, any immigration laws.
QED. I love that look, Sway, I'm gonna tell you, I've had a rough week. I've spoken to so many dishonest motherfuckers this whole week, and I was in a point where I was rabid yesterday. You should have seen me. You are actually my favorite person that I've spoken to this week. That was the best sentence you could have said. So now here comes the part that
if I say I know everything, I'm not going to learn nothing.
No, I got you. I
appreciate that. No, we're praising you.
This is a W for you.
Right.
This is really good.
Appreciate it.
Now here's the question, because you're black, right?
Oh, black as hell.
I'm black too. We black. Cool.
I am not. I was wondering.
Dugald is
Hey,
I was gonna make a joke.
Cool.
You know where I was gonna go, and I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna distract me. And I'm feeling good right now.
Make the joke, because you cooking right now. We need you distracted. Make the joke.
Now listen. It behooves you to know what the law says before you call anything illegal, because they're going to expect you to not read the law when they call you illegal.
Educate me. So, because if that's the case, America got to be the greatest country on the planet. So you're telling me you could come from anywhere, move there, live there, not even become a citizen, and just be straight? I see why everybody want to be here. That's amazing.
That's not American law. That's international law, but it's also reflected in 8 USC 1158.
So you said it's international, right? What about North Korea, South Korea,
believe it or not,
the Middle East?
If I wanted to, I could walk into North Korea tomorrow, wave hello to Kim Jong-un and say, hey, man, what's up? And then leave. The only place I'd be in trouble for doing that is here in the United States.
Yeah.
You know, hold on. You just sat here and told me that you can go into North America on your North Korea on your own free will and leave, and nothing will happen to you.
YouTube videos of Americans going there to go see what it's about.
Yeah.
Whole YouTube videos.
In order to go there, you have to get permission from the government.
From which government?
Yeah.
to get permission from Kim Jong Un in order to visit there.
Based on what law?
Did anybody?
Hold on.
I gotta look it up. Okay, I'll look it up.
All right. Like, yeah, you can go there. It's fine. You may have to watch what you say and do while you're there, but yeah, you're allowed.
Country too. My country allows people in with open arms.
Yeah. Just don't fuck shit up while you're there.
Pretty much. Don't touch our statues, don't touch our architecture because they're ancient and that is illegal. Other than that, welcome to Greece.
I'm looking for like a specific law, but I see a bunch of articles saying they don't even allow immigration. So maybe if y'all could post the link where it says they do, and then I'll just ignore my sources.
The only source you're going to find is from the U.S. State Department, where they say you should not go there because if you act like a fool, they may put you in jail.
And we can't do shit about it.
And they don't talk to them.
That's also my issue because people think that, I want the people that's, selling hot dog carts or taking care of their family, not doing crimes. I want them deported. And no, I'm saying that it's not perfect. So there are going to be some casualties, but I'm talking about the MS-13s, the criminals, the R words and the G word. I'm talking about them. You feel what I'm saying? And so hold on, let me finish. And so it's the same thing where you can't go to any country and break the law and think they're not going to do anything. I mean, isn't that what we're all talking about? We're not talking about the illegal immigrants here that's just minding their own business. I mean, you
didn't put them in concentration camps if they broke the law. Well, that's what Trump is doing.
Here's the thing. There are ways to do exactly here's the thing, Sway. I agree that if somebody is here and they shouldn't be, then they should go. And that happens with the system that we have. The problem is the bottlenecking of it. It's not the system. And it's not their fault that the system's taking 10, 20, 30 years to fucking work. I know some people that if they've got enough money, they got through in a year. Other people I know, they've been fighting for trying so hard and spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's taken 20.
So is the alternative do nothing?
No, that's not what I said.
No, I know that's what you said. My bad. I'm trying to ask because I always hear both sides where it's like either get rid of them or don't do it. But what's the middle? What's the alternative if there is one?
That. And here's the thing, because here's the problem, right? Republicans' answer to everything is pew it, send it somewhere else, or ignore it. And Democrats' answer to problems is always give it a Band-Aid or a distraction, right? So I get why you say that, but the thing of it is there is a way to actually fix it. If you want to, you hire more people in the system, judges, lawyers, clerks, the things that are needed to make that system move, and you can start deporting the shit out of people. Because Obama did that for the most part, back when he was in his term.
Well, I'm actually surprised you brought that up.
Fuck ton of people. And you know what?
I always forget that, man.
Oh, no, I didn't forget it. I remember it. But the thing of it is, though, he gave them their due process. He just had enough people in the system to make it happen.
Lock them in cages.
I didn't say that was a good thing. I disagree vehemently with that.
The cages seem worse than alligators.
I'm talking about the processing of the actual paperwork. Now, how the people were treated, I did not like that. I was not okay with that. But you also have to realize that a lot of what was said about him was very much exaggerated. I'm not saying it wasn't happening, but a lot of the mass amount that it was claiming is not what was happening.
Is there anything being exaggerated about Trump, or is it all 1,000% true?
No.
I think it's being understated, but I don't really look. I can't tell you how bored I am talking about Trump because
y'all can't even hide your bias. That's crazy.
Let me give you an analogy. This is why, I'm going to disagree with Dugald on Obama. I think he was just as bad. Let's say I had a machine that was designed to make hot dogs. Shout out to Super Solid. And all I have to do to make hot dogs is crank a wheel on the machine, right? And I put some old stuffy white dude with a powdered wig and a frilly suit on to turn that wheel. What's the machine gonna make?
Hot dogs.
All right, cool. Then I move forward and I put some dude with a top hat and a funny beard in front of the machine. What's
you don't get the same shit. Excuse my language. You don't get the same thing.
And if you fast forward a whole bunch of years and you put Obama on that machine, that shit is still gonna make hot dogs. That's what it's designed to make.
That's a fair point.
He also said he was going to bring the troops back, and he didn't. But I'm not here to slander Obama.
Hold on.
That's a fair point.
I actually don't care what any president says because they're running the hot dog machine.
Yeah, I'll give you that, Jeff. Actually, that convinces me to be more on your side about that.
I'm going to say is dirty water Franks are superior.
Hey,
Can't change my mind.
Facts, Hanji.
You know it. You already know.
No, that's actually, I like that point a lot, Jeff. I never thought about it like that. I agree with you.
But yeah, I'm really just tripping off the files. That's why I'm mad. Like, release the files, bro. That's what I'm really tripping off.
What files?
He's not mad.
The Epstein, look, the very first Treasury Secretary we had in this country was unalived by our, second Vice President? Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. This country knows how, and the third president was a P3DO of black women, black girls. That's just like being Epstein in this country is as American
as apple pie,
as putting one of them bitches on the windowsill to cool.
I literally love you, Jeff, because I made that exact same argument in another live, and they said, "Oh, so you're so what he did isn't as good, or it's not as bad because everybody did it." No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we're focusing on what he did because he got caught, and it's a lot of bad press. But, bro, people been doing that nasty stuff forever, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, you don't get disagreement on this side from that at all.
I'm not saying, oh, well, because of that, what Trump did is okay. No, what he did was disgusting. I'm saying is like you're seeing with Diddy and with the Weinstein and all these acts. It's like, I think it's the 1%. So I'm on some release the file so like we could see who really doing it. But I think since it's on both sides, we ain't gonna never get it. So I see somebody in the comments saying, "Oh, you really thought he was gonna release the files?" Yes, he stand on business. He didn't. I'll take that L. But I really thought he was.
My point is, I agree with Great Trey. That's been what I've been screaming this whole time. If there's no fucking list or no fucking evidence, then why the fuck is Glazane in jail?
Here's the issue, right? What do you think would happen if they did release the files?
The American people would know what we already know.
You know how many free puff T-shirts there were in New York during the trial?
Yes, Americans and Black Americans down bad for that. Yes,
that's just what we are. But again,
watch the Boondocks. That's literally the R. Kelly episode.
Yeah. But do you think that's going to change for when those people get outed?
So you saying like are people not going to support them anymore?
Oh, I think people will still support them.
People still will. I just want the information. People don't care what you do; they're still going to support.
You're talking about for yourself. Okay, I got you.
It's not even for myself. It's also too for the American people because if y'all tell us we have something and then we don't have something, it's like we already know y'all lying, but now y'all just doing it in front of our face.
But here's the thing, Sway. Like we literally just told you about a thing they do have, the concentration camp, and you said, "Nuh-uh."
Because I just don't see that's similar to what the Jews went through. I just will never equate that. I'm sorry. I just won't.
I actually don't think I
hate the term, excuse me. That's why I hate the term modern day slavery. Because people don't know what slavery is. Like, we got to stop equating things.
I don't like that term either. But there's
I do not like that term.
Not what we have here right now, no.
I don't think due process goes far enough. I'm somebody who thinks they should wide open the borders 100%.
Just let everybody in. That's fair.
Yeah. You know why?
Is it because of your? Did you say you were Mexican too?
No,
I'm with Jeff on that one. No, he's Dominican.
No, look, I'm Dominican, and I can barely stand the part of my family that's still in DR. It's not because of them.
All right.
He's not the only multicultural one here either.
Jeff, that's real. That's real.
Nah, it's because, like, look, Sway, do you work for a living?
Yes, I do. I'm a cook, line cook.
Do they pay you enough?
Well, of course not. And I live in San Francisco, so I get food stamps, all type of stuff.
Do you know why they don't pay you enough? No, not because no. This is bigger than that. Remember,
I just think it's capitalism, right? If we could pay people as less as possible while collecting the most, then we're going to do that. That's why I think a lot of the 1% actually want illegal immigrants here, because you don't have to pay them as much, you don't have to give them as much benefits, and they're going to do jobs that. And it's so racist too when they be like, "Oh, who's going to do the jobs?" Right? Because Mexican immigrants are the only ones who can work the field. Like, I'm so tired of hearing that rhetoric. I ain't gonna lie.
nah, this is so much simpler. It's because workers don't collect themselves. They don't unionize. So the people who work alongside you that are undocumented, they ain't gonna say pay me more because they're gonna get sent home. But if they were here, if the border was open, they'd be like, listen, rich white man, you better pay me to wash these dishes or I'm leaving. And y'all line cooks talk. I know you got like at least 5 friends that's also cooks.
I already told you.
I'm in San Francisco. It's all we see. So like, I got homies that are legal. Like,
yep, cooks, waiters, all of that. If y'all was able to just go, listen, we was talking. We collectively said 45K ain't enough. Y'all are like, you see that Bentley you got outside? I want a piece of that, and I'm making all the food.
That part.
Jeff, I've already
I
told
just think how capitalism works. We'll just find new people to hire.
Hold on,
everybody needs to work. My bad.
Well, Jeff, I already told you if the Hebrew Israelites get what they want, you mess, okay? I told you, I'm not doing it.
I think we might be talking about 2 different things. Dugald,
I know, but you were talking about the replacement earlier. I was like,
but I'm with it. I'm with it.
The concentration camps that exist.
If the reverse ever happens, I'm just saying.
Like Steve Cott.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is you take people, you make them vulnerable, you make them scapegoats, you make them scared, and then they don't ask for more money.
Hey, Fluff. Yeah. Here's the thing, Spike. I think the only thing that we disagree about is just the way things go down for these people. I already told you, like, if you're not here the way you're supposed to be, in the way that you're supposed to be, if you're following the law, I don't care. But the law is very varied. It's not as black and white as you're giving it. So I'm going to tell you that now. Like, it's just not. And the Constitution itself is very much so something there. If you want that changed, that's something you have to work on. But that is the law now. But if you're breaking that, I am in agreement. Go. You need to go. But the problem with that is you have to recognize that without the due process, you can no longer differentiate between citizens and you. And if we don't differentiate, then that means anybody is fair game for all the rest of time. Due process is gone, not just for temporarily and not just for some. It's literally gone for everybody. There's no choice in the matter. So you're
saying they need the due process. Yeah, I mean, the flip side is like you give them due process, then it takes 5-6 years just to deport somebody.
It used to not. That's my point. It can be done to where it doesn't, but we need to actually make that happen as opposed to, like, literally, I told you earlier, Republicans answered everything is to unalive it, send it somewhere else, or ignore it. In the case of immigrants, it's unalive it right now, or send it somewhere else, or both in some cases.
I gotta get killed.
Sounds like we should just be a sanctuary country. Seems like that's what people want.
Well, that's just it. You said earlier that we don't, but we shouldn't. That they shouldn't.
It's just hard to feel that when like our own people are down bad.
I get that, but the thing of it is, Sway, that all those people that are here now that are citizens, number one, are still those other people. Right? And number two, there's no choice in the matter because you're part of a global community. And these people are trying to do the right thing for the most part. And the ones that are not, we've got to bottleneck to search them out. Which is cool. We can fix that. But not concentration camps.
So I wanna before I drop, because I'm starting to get distracted and hot oil and distractions don't mix.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So I want to talk about 8 USC 1158. Right? And I want you to look it up, Sway, and read it and ingest it. It's the law about asylum. and it's written a specific way. It's also written that way in a bunch of other countries that happen to sign Geneva Conventions and stuff. And it says that if I come to the United States, parachute in off of a whatever, hot air balloon, and land on U.S. soil.
You literally could row your boat ashore. Doesn't matter.
I could walk around for 364 days. Then on day 365, I can apply for asylum. I can leave, whatever. And then I go through that process. That's what the law says. The reason is actually kind of interesting given the context of this conversation. The reason is because during World War II, when Jewish people wanted to leave Germany and seek asylum in a whole bunch of places, some of those places were like, nah, we need you to go through the process, and sent them back to the Fuhrer. And so that's a stain on global society. Global society was like, we don't want to do that again. And so they said, look, if you're looking for asylum, we know it takes a while to get your shit in order, and you're leaving a place where, like, if you're getting persecuted, you don't have your driver's license ready, like I do, packed in my wallet all the time. Like, you don't have all your paperwork neatly, like you don't have a safe combination, right? So we're gonna give you some time to get your shit together, to get the trauma out your system, and then you could talk to us about what the deal is. And 1 year seems reasonable. It's all right. A year comes and goes. Like, it's already July, and just yesterday, it seems like I was doing New Year's Eve.
Right.
I was watching.
And I read
Wicked.
that law too.
I was watching Wicked at my brother and sister-in-law's house. New Year's.
I haven't seen that film.
And now it's July.
Yeah.
Like, a year doesn't seem like that long.
At all.
No, but his presidency, though, I'm not gonna lie. This last 4 years or 6 months been the longest 6 months ever.
Oh, for sure. I think June was probably the longest month for me. Jeff,
Yeah, Jeff,
are you
so
making totone? I heard oil. Are you making totone?
I'm making chicken cutlets.
Ooh.
At least once a week, I try to make it a really good pasta night. So chicken parm it is. And so my oven is preheated. Matter of fact, before I drop, y'all can see there's some in the oil here.
Yum.
Yum.
And some on deck over there. So
Yum.
that's how we rolling.
So
Jeff,
we're going to
that
Jeff's
law
house.
was for refugees, dog. I just read it. It's for refugees.
That's what we're talking about. That's the asylum laws.
So if you come here because you just want a better life, are you a refugee?
Yes.
Yes.
Until we say you're not.
Most immigrants, for the most part, are.
And most immigrants that come here have been persecuted where they were, and that's why they left.
No, that's not what I said. I said according to the law.
No, I'm saying that's what the law says.
Hold on. According to the law, anybody who crosses the border is a refugee until they have their trial. That's what the law says. They present themselves to.
Right. So my first point is I don't think everybody that comes is refugees. My second point is.
That's not
Okay, cool.
I'm not
we agree on that.
I'm not using
my
the
second
term.
point is
Hold on.
they
I'm
have
not using-
364 days to fill out an application. How many of those people you think do that?
About 90,
Majority.
90-ish%.
It's true. We wouldn't have illegal immigrants.
No,
Try
that's
again.
not the case because
That's the point.
you're focused on just that one law, and that one law only pertains to that group of people.
That's what he's talking about.
Hold
so
on,
why
hold
not
on,
focus on
hold
what
on,
he's
hold
talking
on,
about?
hold on. Pause. According to the United States government, about 90 or so % of people that cross, that are here for asylum, fill out an application. From those people, about 95 to 96% show up for their court date.
And another large number get deported.
Yeah, and a majority of those people get sent home. They're just following the law.
It's just taking a long time due to the lack of judges, clerks, and lawyers, and various other people.
Not to mention the funding, the time it takes.
The reason I say that they are refugees according to the law is because the way we determine if they're a refugee or not is they see a judge. And if the judge hasn't seen you, then we assume that you are, so we can show.
So I'm reading the definition right here. An alien who is unable or unwilling to return to their home country due to persecution or a well-founded fear of persecution. So if we're basing off of that, then we'll say the majority of illegal immigrants that come into this country are leaving where they came from because they were getting persecuted.
No.
But that's what the law says.
I don't know if you're listening to what I'm saying. How do we determine if they're being persecuted?
You lost your sway. Bring it back.
So pretty much the law is up to our interpretation then.
No, yes, well, that's what a judge does. But how do we determine if someone's being persecuted?
No, how? I think a person could just lie and be like, yep, I was persecuted. And then you got to let me stay.
No. How do we determine if someone's being persecuted? There is an answer to this. This is not
we have to go off of their word, right? I mean, how else you determine where we committed?
No.
You see a judge.
Like, I think you're thinking that literally all immigrants are falling under this asylum category when that's not what's been said.
Okay, that's okay. I thought that's why he was bringing it up.
But here, look, hold on. If anybody, the way the law,
reading the law, he told me to read. So we're talking about the specific USC 1158, right? Okay.
Hold on.
There's a person that's crossing the border right now. They don't have any paperwork on them at all. Have they broken 8 USC 1158?
No, they have 364 days.
Okay, on day 365, they apply for asylum and they say, my neighbor's persecuting me.
Thank you.
Have they broken the law?
If they say that their neighbor is persecuting them, have they broken the law?
Yeah.
No, because, bro, wait, actually, yes, because I thought it was if you're getting persecuted from the place you're coming from, not from the place you're at.
No, their neighbor back home, whatever country they're from.
You're talking about back home? Yeah. If back home, if somebody says I was persecuted, then based off of 1158, not illegal, straight up.
How about if they say, I don't like the pizza place in my town?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, there is no black and white to be like, okay, this person either was a refugee or wasn't.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. This is now I'm giving you a person who hasn't been persecuted at all. They just don't like the pizza in their town. They wanted to come to the United States to have good pizza.
Dog said I'm way too excited. Hey, I'm just a passionate person.
Nah, he good.
Yeah. So if you're talking about just pizza, then that's not a legitimate reason you got to get on. You getting deported. Adios. Bye.
You know what happens in that case? They go to the border patrol people. They present themselves. They give their reason. If they say pizza, that person's going home. Now, let's say they say, I'm being persecuted by the government, and then they get a court date, and the court date is usually like 5 years away. So 5 years goes by. So now they've been in the country for 6 years, and they go to the judge, and they tell the judge, the government is persecuting me. And the judge says, show me evidence of that, and they don't have any evidence. What happens then?
If you don't have any evidence, adios.
Good. But they've been in the country for 6 years and they haven't broken the law, right?
You could be in the country for 20 years. If we don't have laws, let's enforce them. If not, let's not have them.
Hold on. You're not saying anything right now. I want to bring you back. If they've been in the country for 6 years, they went to their court date and the judge disagrees that they are being persecuted. The judge says, I do not believe you've been persecuted, and sends them home. They haven't broken the law, right?
No, they haven't broken the law. We are just reinforcing the law that if you're here and you're not a refuge, you can take your happy butt back.
That's what we're saying.
That's exactly what it is. So
we're saying the same thing.
So they could be here for 6 years. One of those years, they can just scratch their butt right in the middle of Texas, like do nothing but like.
You funny as heck, bro.
And then for the next 5 years, they can work right alongside you. What's the best dish at your restaurant?
We got an oxtail plate with plantains.
No. All right, cool. So they're a Jamaican immigrant and they're making oxtails. You know why I said Jamaican and not Dominican? That's the one dish that I'll seed ground on is oxtails. Mofongo, I may give a little ground to Puerto Ricans, but everything else in the Caribbean.
Don't come for our mofongo.
Everything else in the Caribbean, we got it. But there's a Jamaican immigrant. He came over, right? He working with you for 5 years. Hopefully 3 years, because I think they got to be here for a certain amount of years before they can even get a job. But
it's like
he hasn't gotten any benefits. He's just been here at work doing his thing, and then he went home. He's not illegal, right?
So it's messed up that he went home, but we going off the law you said. If he's not a refuge, don't he have to leave?
I'm not going home. I'm saying, has he broken the law?
Yeah.
Oh, has he broke? Nah. What law has he broke?
That's what we're talking about.
So he's not illegal. And he hasn't
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so if you here and you're an immigrant, you're not a citizen, but you ain't do nothing illegal, then technically you're not illegal. We go with that. Let's go with that.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was your point. Cool. All right.
We good. I'm doing a little salsa dance. So now I'm a drop.
Appreciate you, Jeff. Thanks for coming up, buddy.
Hey, get some more people up here, man. It's lit.
But I'm just letting you know, Jeff, it's pegao, not con.
Hey! What? Hanji? Yo, I'm going to catch you on Discord, Hanji. Fatality.
But Dugald, bro, it's tough being a Trump supporter because even the Trump supporters is turning on him now. Even the rights ain't messing with Trump now. It's fair being a Trump supporter, dude.
Some, not as many as we'd like.
A lot of them are pissed about the Epstein, like a lot of them.
Yeah, but they're already starting to make excuses back now. All right, thanks, Jeff. So, Sway, I love that you understood the point there. I do want to give you a little bit of something else, too, because you mentioned earlier about, like, then they shouldn't have come here. The problem is the U.S. is always, up until Trump, especially most recently Trump, or more so recently Trump, it was always sold as the melting pot, the place to go, the place our Statue of Liberty says to give us all your immigrants. So it's always been advertised as the place to come. So the fact that people come is our own fault. And number two, it's also our fault because a lot of the places that these people are coming from on the southern border especially are from countries that we fucked up. We went in and stomped our fucking big U.S. colonization dumbass capitalist feet around and fucked a whole bunch of countries up. So their people are fleeing them and coming here because they're told they can claim asylum, and they figure, well, the country that fucked us up should be the one to come and, help us. So that's why they come. But most of the people who are
That's a great argument.
But most of the people who are illegal, that you quote unquote illegal, are people who stay past their visas, and to be quite honest, that's usually white Europeans, and you don't see none of them getting snatched up.
The majority of illegal immigrants are white people?
I said the majority of the people who are here past their visas, and then the majority of those people are white Europeans and Russians.
So then the Trump administration just don't like Mexicans.
It's exactly what it is. It's literally racism.
I'm trying to be smart. I'm genuinely asking for understanding.
Not just Mexicans, it's brown and black people in general. We are seen as not even human.
So how come he has Mexican and black supporters then?
Because you always have your people who are gonna be after their own self-interest and not those of the people they're supposed to be there for.
And the majority of them are white passing anyways. They think they can get away with it because...
So I mean, yeah, you're always going to have that because they need, I hate to say it, but they need tokens.
And I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm going to be real and say it. Anybody that's American knows, all we know is immigrants. And it ain't just Mexicans. It's black immigrants, Asian immigrants. So the fact that, it seemed like it's a focus just on Latino immigrants, that's mainly. I could definitely say that's mainly.
And now that you know that and can see that what we're talking about, then that should make more sense now.
Because it's only Latin people being put in the Alcatraz? I start to argue, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So you tell me it's only Mexicans in there? Only.
Maybe some black people that were mistaken.
I mean, they ain't tricking no blacks, no Europeans in there? That's crazy.
There's no Europeans in there. And you'll also find that they're not, there might be one or two of some other race or culture, but that's only because there's somebody that spoke out.
And bro, what's crazy is like
Base
I
against
keep
their
seeing.
skin.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. I keep seeing people saying, "Oh, what are you cheering for? You're next." Y'all really believe? No, hold on, let me finish. So y'all really think you're gonna be okay? Boom, Mexicans going. Now we're gonna go for the blacks. Now we're gonna go for disabled. Now we're gonna go for the gays. Like y'all really believe that?
Sway, hold on. Hold on. No. Yeah. I can actually speak on this. In Florida, they're already going after the Haitians.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because they ain't only going after Mexicans. W.
No, but we told earlier his focus is brown and black people, not.
That's literally what we're saying. Like I'm a multicultural woman. My father is Greek, Egyptian and Puerto Rican. My mother is Greek. I am a brown skinned woman. They will see my skin before they see my race and toss my ass in there.
Yes, America is very racist, unfortunately. Yeah. This country is born on that, built on that.
That's what this ultimately boils down to, Sway, because when you look at the people who are being picked up, it's usually brown or black people, or it's somebody who's spoken up against it, right?
Yeah, and my mom, she just said a beautiful point. So if we know America is like, how that they treat black and brown people like that, wouldn't it not be the best country to come to? Shouldn't you go to like Canada or something? I'm not even trying to be smart. I'm being super genuine right now. If we know that this is America's history, why come here?
But at the same time, though, you have several issues there. Canada has its own resurgence of far-right nationalism like we're experiencing here, which is the fascism. Or you have, they have a lot of racist issues there, too. They just aren't as loud and vocal about it. Here's the problem. Sway, anytime you got Mayo sapiens like myself, there's going to be problems. There's going to be racism.
Like, I kid you not, coming to the States, I cannot tell you how many American people said that I wasn't Greek because of the color of my skin. Oh, Greeks are white. They're not black. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, come to my country then. They start seeing murals of the Minoans, which were black and brown. They start seeing people walking around my country that were born and raised like myself, that are olive to bronze, black and brown skin. And they're just like, wait a minute, but we only see white people in brochures because that's what brings you in. They don't show you the reality.
And you just made a beautiful point, which is not specific to America. Throughout history, in any culture, Indian culture, Asian culture, Latin culture, black culture, the more fair skin was always treated better.
It's always
colorism always existed, unfortunately. So it's not specific to America, but yeah.
The racism isn't that. Yeah, it's. I didn't really have to deal with racism in my country because I'm Laconian. I'm from modern day Sparta. They already knew people from Sparta were darker skin tone than the rest of the islands, aside from Crete. But they knew that we were Greek. Whereas someone from the outside will literally look at me, hear me talk in my native tongue to my family or my friends and be like, holy shit, they make you? Motherfucker, what?
Right. But here's the biggest thing is like the colorism in any nation didn't happen until white people, Mayo sapiens like myself, who look like me, went out and took control of the Christianity. White people have had control of it for about 1,500 years now. And everywhere we've gone, we've fucked shit up. And we have been racist as fuck ever since. And that's why anytime you go to a primarily white country, there are race issues.
And I agree with that. I definitely agree. But it's like, at the same time, boss, you look at history. I mean, my people sold us to America. Every culture has had slaves and endangered servants. So just because Europeans were the most successful, I don't think that means that they're just the most evil. And I'm black.
Right.
So you know how it is.
Right, but here's the thing. We're not saying that there weren't some black people in Africa that didn't help the thing, but the amount of that was way smaller than you think.
And the thing is that I'm surprised that people don't even know about the Saharian and the Arabic slave trade that happened during the rise of Islam in the 7th century. That slave trade lasted for 1,400 years for the Arabic slave trade and 1,000 years for the Saharian, which Muslim faith literally dipped into Africa, even the ones that looked like me in Egypt, and started selling us off as profit. Like it lasted for a very long time. And then the antebellum slave trade came not far after.
Although that one took watching that graphic that Lord shows, the one that showed the routes of all the ships over time.
Yep. We had the same routes in the Saharian and the Arabic slave trade. I actually had ancestors that were slaves.
Right, but do you know how nauseous that seeing the amount of ships made me? Like, just the sheer
People aren't terrible people. I think humans are terrible people.
Oh, humans are.
We're just talking based on history.
People have been doing horrible shit to each other long before, Mayo sapiens lost their melanin 3,000 years ago. We've been fucking terrible to each other for long.
To be to blame the white person for everything, that just makes me a victim.
No,
don't get me nowhere.
Here's the thing: there's a difference between blame and pointing out where accountability should be. And I am not. Even though I am gay, I think that has helped me realize the privilege that I've had and the things that have happened, right? So I'm willing
so real for saying that.
I'm willing to recognize that my kind, the people who look like me, even though I'm not completely part of the group because they don't like me for my gayness, I understand that we have done some fuck shit, right? It's a very long time.
Like, I'll even show you. This is a recent picture of me, Sway. You would look at me and you would not think that I was Greek.
Right,
I've gotten Dominican. I've gotten black and white.
So my mom, I was
I've
like South American.
Hindu. Yeah, I've gotten everything but Greek and Egyptian.
I'm trying to be racist. I'm just saying that's was my initial thoughts. Like,
right. But no, so you see what we're saying all about all this way is like there's so much layers to it all, and you have to really look at it. And like, for example, it sucks that she doesn't get a lot of credit for this, but like during Biden's presidency, I'm not a huge Biden fan. I'm not going to sit here and say I was.
Biden was terrible. I'm sorry, he was terrible.
I'm not going to say he was terrible. Like, there was some good things he did, but there were some definite flubs and fuck ups he did. And I'm really pissed about his diagnosis, how far along he is, and us not knowing about it. That shit pisses me off. Don't get me wrong. But
he was giving the grandpa that didn't want his grandchildren to know his house, so that way we wouldn't stress him the fuck out.
But it's also possible that's why he dropped out, because he found out. So I'm not going to sit here and say flat out it's his fault, but I'm still a little mad about that. But he did drop out, and we understand why now, right? He had cancer. He has cancer. We get it. That's why the whole dropout happened. That's why the suddenness of Kamala happened. But the biggest thing is, what I hate is she doesn't get a lot of credit for this, but she actually went and brokered a bunch of deals in South America to try to curb the amount of people coming up here. She actually made a huge dent in the number of people coming that was going to come. Basically, even though on the scales it looks like the numbers kind of stay the same or maybe increase or decrease a little bit here and there from previous years, is because she actually stebbed the tide of the things that Trump had done and the amount of people we were going to get after that. Because he fucked over Venezuela hard. So hard. He fucked their entire economy up. Because we were their main buyer of oil. For those who don't know, we were their main buyer of oil. And then he backed out of a deal last minute because I think it was either the Saudis or somebody else gave him a different deal. And he said, fuck Venezuela. And we were like 80% of Venezuela's economy at that point because they found a enrichment or oil deposits. Like, we fucked them. And that destabilized the shit out of them. That led to a whole mess of other problems. So like those people were coming here, which of course made the I don't know if we're allowed to say, are we allowed to say the G word for what they are, the ones that everybody's scared of here, the group.
Take it on the safe side, because TikTok, they be banning for anything.
Right. The schmangs. Since schma seems to be the thing we put on words to make it okay. Right. So like we have to look at cause and effect, and I think that's what a problem with our the right and sometimes the extreme left have a problem with, is they don't look at the causes and the effects. They look at the problem and just want to solve the problem, but their fixes, like I said, always fall in those categories. Under the Republicans, it's those three things I said earlier, and under the Democrats, it's those two things. So like, there's never a change. There should be change. That's what I would advocate for and I would love. But like, we have to deal with the now, and the now is the fascism. And that's not going to stop with the immigrants. I got news for everybody around. It's not going to stop with them. It's going to come for me and the LGBTQIA, and it's going to come for, eventually it will stop with black people. And they've already started trying to poke at y'all.
So his end game, I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right. So his end game is to be this totalitarian regime ruler that does whatever he wants and just finna kick everybody out that ain't white and blue eyed. Like, is that what we
Not
really
necessarily
believe?
white and blue, just white in general. It's they're
with the same ideologies as him.
Literally, it's being going white Christian nationalism.
Mm-hmm. But welcome in Manhattan.
It's crazy.
I see your hand is
so we got some new
raised.
people up in here.
Hi, Manhattan. Are you
Doing all right? Hey, Funky. Hey, Rio.
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
You're over 21,
Are
right?
you over 21?
Yes, a bit over.
Did you vote for Trump?
Hell no.
Smart man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to address Sway because a little while ago he had apologized. He said he didn't want to sound racist, but before when he was talking to Jeff, he said he's a black man and black people cannot be racist. And reason why we have to be careful with that is actual racism, affects the material conditions of people. Black people and people that are non-white. And if we just go throwing the word around, there's different types of discrimination. Under discrimination falls, discrimination against Jewish people would be anti-Semitic. Discrimination against against Muslim people, would be Islamophobia. Discrimination against women, misogyny. Okay, so we got to be really careful with that. And now, race, a lot of people are using a dictionary kind of bastardized understanding of race and racism. So what a dictionary does is it describes things that people are saying, like it's a catalog of what everybody is saying and what they mean by it. Now, the problem with that is 54% of Americans read at a 6th grade or below reading level. Okay, so the dictionary gives a description. It doesn't give like historical context, functionality, and etymology. And I'm taking too long. I don't want to monologue too long, but I want to get to race. Race was created by a Portuguese guy, Gomes Zurara, back in 1452, and he did that for Spain to justify the transatlantic slave trade. Now, race in its function, was a socioeconomic hierarchy with white people self-imposed at the top, benefiting at the expense of the oppression of non-white people. That is racism. Okay, so I just wanted to get that by you.
Yeah, that's my whole point of my third there is like the whole point of the regime that is running the government now. That is their intention. Anybody who's non-white. Yeah, definitely agree. But yeah, that's where we're at, Sway. Like that's what's happening with all this. It's the ultimate goal is to be a white Christian nationalist nation. They want the oligarchs and the education to be run by churches, or the oligarchs themselves be faithful, and then they run the government through their church. And Trump's just there for the money and the power, so it doesn't really matter to him who has what after that.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because I got the privilege to talk to some strangers on the phone, so can't be too bad for a colored individual like myself. So we'll see.
Well, here's the thing. Look at one thing though before you go. One thing that you should look at. Look at the subtle things he's done to try to goad you all. He took away some benign thing that shouldn't have even been on his radar. The segregation law, the anti-segregation law for government buildings. He got rid of that so that segregation is technically legal there now in those places. He has gone after taking away the names of black people off of various things. Like there's all kinds of little goading things that he's tried to do. Threatening the offering to release tossing around the idea of releasing the guy who murdered George Floyd, things along those lines. Like, there are little subtle things they've been doing to try to get you all out and about because they know that you're sitting this out. All the protests and stuff, like the black community sitting it out, and totally understandable, but like they know that, so they've been subtly trying to goad you all. And if you don't notice that,
if you want the playbook, just look up Project 2025.
Right.
I'm gonna just be real. I feel like I have the best opportunity in this country versus anywhere else. So I hear what y'all saying, but it's like I have amazing opportunity here. Amazing opportunity.
You might, but my point in that is like if they're going after other rights, they take away yours, then those opportunities go away. So pay attention. That's all.
And so I hear what you're saying, and there's people who they're using that argument, but going to the extreme, like, oh, you're going to go back to slavery. It's going to go back to segregation. And I'm like, we got to stop with
make a prediction.
We got to stop with the extreme. Yeah, see, and you're not doing it, but like the far right extreme and the far left extreme, we got to stop that, bro. Like, we got to get rid of these extremes, dude.
Here's the thing, though. If we're seeing the extreme happening and we can see the direct comparisons to extremes that have happened in the past, then we have no reason to not believe it. That's literally our survival instinct. Like, if it's happening, it's happening. I'm telling you, pay attention because it is happening. And eventually, it will wind up on your all's doorstep. It's going to be long after all the other minority groups because they know that you're like, you know, they know what's happening socially. So like, I'm just saying, they're not going to stop with the immigrants. They're not going to stop with gay people. They're not going to stop with eventually, I don't know if they'll go after Jewish people or just Asian people or whatever. The case is they're still coming for all minorities, all of them.
And if you want to play by play on how this happened previous time, all you have to do is look at the Third Reich during World War II. Like it's almost identical.
It's systematic how they did it. They took out minority group by minority.
That's, you know, y'all saying that's like when Pearl Harbor happened and we put a bunch of Japanese in internment camps, and then after that, then they go after the Mexicans, right? And after that, they go after. And that's not what happened though.
No,
we already did this. We already did this before. We already had I don't even think it's a concentration camp, but I'm gonna use our definition. We already had that before with the Japanese. Why didn't it happen to everybody else? Based on your argument, why did that not happen to everybody else?
That was very specific. Listen, I'll tell you. The problem is the reason why that didn't happen is because we also were by the Japanese attack. We were forced into World War II, which we were trying to sit out, right? And because of that, we were on the winning side. We then had to make good on being the winning side. We couldn't keep Japanese people in internment camps, and we couldn't then turn around and put other people in ones. So that's why it didn't happen here, because we had to keep face, save face.
You're saying we're going off a pattern. So I'm saying if we did it again and the end of the world didn't happen,
we're going off the pattern of World War II fascism. Hitler and Mussolini and all the rest of them. We're talking about World War I and II. These are the things that are happening, repeating here. We are now the ones on the opposite side because we are the ones doing the things that they did.
We are killing and torturing people just based off of who they are.
Pay attention to the camp. Yes.
Crazy. That's a stretch. I ain't gonna, especially because the camp was just made.
Stretch. That's why I'm telling you. We literally had a whole long conversation about this, and you agreed to all of it because you saw it. Now you're saying no. Pay attention to these things.
No, I know Mexicans are being rounded up. You can't tell me they're being killed.
It's not just Mexican. It's all people who are possibly Hispanic. And look, they're going after black and brown people now indiscriminately. That's why the due process is such a problem. Because if they snatch up a random person who happens to be pretty melanated, they don't know if that person's a citizen. And without due process, they can't find out if that person's a citizen.
They literally did that to an
You're saying that's similar to the Holocaust. That's directly identical to the Holocaust.
We're telling you, the warning signs are here.
No, that's not even close.
The warning signs are here. When Germany itself tells you, dude, what are you all doing? Pay attention. When Jewish people in this country who fled here from that have been this whole time screaming, what are you doing?
You understand that infants were thrown into furnaces?
Yes, and what do you think the rumor of those?
And you're going to say that's happening now? Oh my God!
Hold on.
Let's Sway. We didn't say this is the middle of it. We didn't say this is toward the end of it. We're saying this is the beginning. That wasn't happening at the beginning of World War II yet.
Yes, German concentration camps did not
I thought the Poland
immediately
invasion
start
was literally what started World War II.
No, the leading up to World War II, the leading up to what Schmittler did and was, all those things took place before the war. All those things took time. All those things were systematic and by step. They took time. They did not happen all at once. You have to pay attention to the warning signs of what's happening now to see that that is where the trajectory we are on.
If I may, I can
Look it
actually
up. The
give
invasion of
some-
Poland is what started World War II.
Wait, you've done enough talking. Let other people talk now.
I'm telling you
Hold
what
on.
happened before the war, what led up to the start of that. He did not build the concentration camps when the war started. They started a little bit before that, but they weren't the first things he built. He had a whole bunch of shit he had to do to gain control before he could get to that part. And that is what is happening now. That stuff. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the steps that led up to
here's
that.
a breakdown.
This is mirroring that.
Here's a breakdown of what exactly happened. So, rewinding the clock back to about the 1930s, right around the start, I want to say it was 1932 to 1933. A political party known as the Beer Hall Push went ahead and actually not only forcefully took over the election, but they ended up actually getting permanent power inside of the German government. During that point in time, when Hitler decided that he was going to get into power, the first thing he did was that he eliminated the aspects of anything regarding the Progressive Party, anything regarding women's rights, LGBTQIA rights, everything along those lines. He completely reset the clock. Then, once he had absolute control power in government, the next thing he did was then he refocused his target on the on Jewish people. The reason being, his argument was the fact that the Jewish people were not originally from Germany; they were migrants to the country, and were actually and aggressively stealing and messing up the economy of Germany. He then proceeded to go ahead, and then at that point in time, the other thing you have to keep in mind for context is that during that point in time, Germany was still paying recompense for World War I. Hitler immediately went ahead and shut that down, completely isolated the German government, tried to initiate funds and programs to go ahead and revamp the economy. One of which was was Volkswagen. Volkswagen was actually very well petitioned. And on top of that, when he actually started targeting Jewish people, what he did was he actually lent out Jewish people that were rounded up to those companies. Those companies were then using those individuals to actually grow their personal economy.
Hold on, Floki, stop right there for a second, because I need them to see the parallel right now, because Trump has already made the statement that maybe farmer workers and others can be dealt with and owned by the farmers and stuff, the companies that own the farms, talking about owning the migrants. Go ahead, Flippy.
The link in the chat if you don't mind.
Yeah, we can. There's multiple things you can easily pull up with Google search. Then what he did afterwards was then he decided that he was going to invade Poland. The reason why was because his goal was to actually refund and regrow what was then known as the it was Germany's empire during World War II. And because of the actual acts of the problems that were going on within World War I, they actually seceded Poland as its own separate country. Hitler was trying to go ahead and get those countries back because of the fact that they originally belonged to the empire. That is what initially caused the military front. Now, at that point in time, not only did he go ahead and do that, but he also launched blitzkrieg attacks against other neighboring countries. Now, where I will correct Dugald slightly, as the main property aspect of, or the main central front of the United States was not involved, that is correct. However, the United States subtly went ahead and sent military arms as well as actual soldiers who enlisted, quote unquote, to work alongside of the British, French, Irish, and other militaries that were working at the time. They were technically by front. They were fighting for those particular countries, but they still were operatives for the United States government. The United States government actually technically entered the war around 1942 to 1943, but that was that was known as the Western Front. They didn't do a whole lot of movement in there. They merely sent small brigades, small arms and things along those lines, the occasional tank, whatnot, what have you. It wasn't until at that point. One thing I do also have to clarify now that before I forget. In addition to that, what he also did was he also eliminated any particular group that was not affiliated with or that were arguing against Hitler. These groups actually manifested in multiple different ways. Some of them were Masons. Some of them were Christian groups. Some of them were even metaphysical practitioners and things along those lines that were actually eliminated and actually tossed into these locations, including the sea camps. That part actually changed later on in the war, but that's neither here nor there. The problem that we're seeing is that if you break down the pattern, and it's happening almost identically to the way that Hitler ran. In fact, according to multiple news articles, Trump, was quoted as saying close to as follows, and I quote, "I want my cabinet members to be like Hitler's party." Directly stated that and was quoted saying that. On top of that, let's also talk about something that Trump did. Trump has already gone ahead and signed it. Oh, sorry, Dugald.
Make America Great Again came from Germany too. It's a very similar slogan.
Germany Great Again.
It was similar to that, yeah.
Now let's also take this even one step further. Trump has already gone ahead and signed into initiative or executive order that there will be eventually there is in the process a group of individuals and people that are responsible for actually basically doing an inquisition concept towards people that are not Christian. He's already signed that into executive order. That's the problem. The problem is what you're seeing now is in real time what happened then. And now I know a lot of people want to hesitate and say, well, this isn't fascism, this, that, and the other. I understand where the hesitation comes from.
Right.
Here's the thing. This is happening. Now, a little bit of background. I've studied this quite extreme. I've studied this for years. I've studied it ever since I was a kid. I've studied it growing up. I've also then reintroduced studying it because of my own personal beliefs and my own personal practice, because there's heavy deconstruction that's involved with that. The problem that you're seeing is that while the names are different, the religious centricity of the belief is different. It is entirely, at the end of the day, repeating the same pattern. And yeah, I know, Kate, that was a wild Freudian slip, but it's accurate. It's an accurate
I do have a question. I do have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
But I want you to finish what you're saying.
No worries. The bottom line that I'm stating is that this is happening in real time. And over there, at the time frame, the main populace of the German people were saying the exact same thing.
You guys want to see a very eerie picture that I found?
Is it a video or a picture of them comparing
It's a picture.
Auschwitz to the alligator camp?
Nope, but similar to the people that were all for it.
Yeah.
All excited and happy that this concentration camp is a thing. You see? Just generations apart.
There are people literally outside of the entrance to where you go to get there, with signs and merchandise and all kinds of shit, and signs saying "feed them to the gators" and
Yep.
all kinds of shit.
Literally a side by side.
Literally cheering on feeding people to alligators. Literally.
Oh, real quick, I know that Mike. Just FYI, I'm gonna point you out. FYI, Mike, the Norse pagan in the comments. FYI, he actually is overseas and sees things from an entirely different perspective than we do with America, and he is very well astute as far as studies and things along those lines is concerned. And one of the things he pointed out is the similarities of the annexation that occurred during.
Trump's been threatening to.
That's a carbon copy. Carbon fucking copy.
Once they annexed Canada, Greenland, Panama, and I swear there was another one. I can't remember it though. There may not have been, but I know those three specifically.
I have a question for Michael, if I can ask really quickly.
Sure, go ahead, Kate.
Also, I don't think I've been up on your live Dugald before, but I'm Kate. I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Michigan. So just for TikTok purposes.
Thank you. Welcome in.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, when is this the time? Like, at what point do we sound the alarm? Because I in my mind, I'm thinking about the boy who cried wolf, and if we raise the alarm too early and over again, is it going to become less meaningful? And should it be happening now, or
the alarm should have
at
been
what
raised
point?
the first day.
Oh yeah.
Is
No,
it when we
should have
lose
been.
checks and balances though? Because they're still intact.
2016.
Not quite. So
Should have been
here's
raised in 2016.
Here's my thought. Okay. And this is going to be a really shitty aspect of humanity, but it's something that I've learned from my personal experience. A prophet is only as good as the people that listen to him. Any particular person that raises the alarm, they could be raising the alarm soon, could be raising the alarm later. At the end of the day, the fact that the alarm is being raised in circles like this, in conversations like this is how it starts. That's how it always has started. It always starts with intellectual people going ahead and actually having conversations like this. And you don't necessarily have to believe exactly every word that we're saying. Give it time. You're going to have a moment where you're going to look back on this conversation and go, holy shit, they were right. What the fuck? But the fact that we're talking about this now, the fact that we're going ahead and having these conversations, and the fact that we're actually using historical evidence because this has happened before. And we see the parallels, and we talk about the parallel. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, the alarm bells were raised excuse me. The alarm bells were raised the moment that Germany actually, as a country, stepped in and was like, yo, what the fuck? Because Germany has had the longest history of not wanting to have anything to do with its own past. Going so far, and this is no joke, going so far as to ask the creators of Hasbro to not include the VW as far as their Transformers figurines were concerned because of how closely linked it was to World War II. Like, that was a whole thing. True. So, if they, of all people, want to immediately step in and are willing to point out the problems of the past and bring up and dredge their own history and be like, yo, what the fuck are you guys doing? Because this is the exact same shit that our predecessors did, and we're not proud of it. We hate it. So if they're saying it, I'm sorry, you may
you just cut out.
As well have gone ahead and put the liberty. That's the alarm.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said you may as well have and read. Oh, am I cutting out? Hold on a sec. Ding, testing. How about now? Okay. What I was saying was it is ringing so loud, you may as well have put the Liberty Bell back together and start ringing it off the chain.
You know what's funny?
It's that loud.
Reaching.
The only reason why people aren't picking. I mean, it's a fact, though.
So
it's a fact.
That Hitler was in rule for 12 years. Trump has 3 more years left. That alone makes it not a parallel. What are we talking about?
Wait. How do you think that Hitler got into power?
He did it with sheer evil and manipulation. Hi, guys.
Well, he did do that, Heidi, but he got there. He was elected by the people.
Right.
Changed the rules. Trump has told many times and hinted many times that he's willing to say no more elections.
And my grandparents were Holocaust survivors.
I mean,
they were German Jews. And a lot of people don't realize that there were more than 1 million German Jews who were murdered. People seem to forget that. They were horrified that their country was doing this to themselves. We are, in fact, looking at a repeat of history, except we have more electronics involved, more social media platforms, and we have more crazy people running around acting like fools. It's becoming incredibly dangerous. So that lovely thing that they're calling alligator, what is it, Alcatraz?
Yeah.
It's no different. The only difference is the time period. And for my grandparents to repeat the history to us when we were growing up, it started out as just labor camps, and then came the experimentation. This is where the torture comes in. People don't seem to understand. It took quite a while for this to happen. My parents have all the scars, and they had their lovely numbers tattooed in. So we all think that there's nothing that's going to happen in Alligator Alcatraz. You better believe there's stuff going on in there. And that's why they don't want people in there to see what's going on.
It's all right, dude.
I mean, also something to consider as well is hold on. It's something to consider as well, and this is going to be something that y'all are probably going to kind of laugh at me about, but it's actually legitimately the truth if you think about it. Pop culture has been freaking warning us about this point for the longest time. Like, okay, perfect example. You want to know how Trump could absolutely go ahead and get it? He creates an entire situation where there's a war happening on some sort of foreign soil. He hypes up the amount of the cabinet goes ahead and hypes up how problematic it is. He then convinces everyone in the Congress to give him immediately emergency powers. It's that simple. He could pull a goddamn Darth Sidious on every single one of us, and we wouldn't have a thing to be able to do.
Which emergency powers are you talking about?
Yep. He could easily go ahead and put the president. So the president has, if given emergency powers, it would be basically what happened on an extreme scale, what happened during the War on Terror. What ended up happening was after 9/11, and everyone lost their lives there. The entire board of Congress, with almost a unanimous vote, gave George W. Bush emergency powers. He declared basically he didn't declare martial law, but what he did was he ended up mobilizing an entire group of troops and sending them overseas. The target was initially Afghanistan.
And I spent many years in Afghanistan.
Trump could very much, if given the right amount of emergency powers, which is what I'm betting he's going to try to do, because the entire cabinet right now is actually filled with Republicans. At this point,
right now. I don't even know that he'll need to declare that, because he's been really slowly eroding all the checks and balances.
Agreed. He's already done it. He's already doing it with I don't know if I can say the cold guys, the masked guys.
Yeah.
That's a really easy way to declare martial law without declaring martial law.
Exactly.
There's a reason those guys are wearing masks. We haven't completely figured it out, but we have.
Mm-hmm.
We
They're
can,
getting dodged now.
We can look and see how things are going. I think we know who those guys actually are. There's a reason they're wearing masks.
And they're not just rounding up the brown and black communities, by the way. I work in Corona, Queens and Forest Hills. I actually ended up in a raid myself. I'm a veteran and I am white and I have red hair. I was standing there in those handcuff, what do you call them, elastic zip ties. The one man who did not have a mask on asked me, where's your passport and where's your birth certificate? Who the hell walks around with those items? I showed him my military ID and he said to me, oh no, that's not good enough. You're not good enough, and proceeds to push me in the direction of a van.
You should not be carrying around your birth certificate and your social security card.
No.
Also, Richie, you can say icy on TikTok to refer to that.
I know you're not supposed to carry those things, but this is what I was asked for. I'm 58 years old. This is not my first time around the block.
No, I think no, D. I think she was just saying like, no, she was agreeing with you. Like you should.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you because the fact that you would require someone to be carrying those documents for one, it's
but this is
so
what's
unsafe.
happening.
It's so unsafe.
She's not in denial, D. She's not in denial.
And let's also call a spade. And you know what? I may get bananaed.
Yeah, me bananaed.
Okay, because I'm very much. I'll try not to get you bananaed. I apologize. Fuck. Now that just fucking took the wind out of myself. Thanks, Dugald. No, I'm kidding. No, okay. Here's the thing, though.
Sway's not even listening, so we'll keep talking. But I'm gonna drop Sway because he's down there calling us dramatic. You remember that later on, Sway, when they're after you too.
You gonna be rounded up. So go ahead and keep riding that Trump D if you want to.
So real quick.
Yeah, it's overall frightening.
Quick reminder.
To think that I'm a special education teacher by trade, and I'm going out in the community and I'm servicing children. I'm also a massage therapist, and I used to work in a VA hospital that they shut down. So this is the world that we're living in. So if anyone's going to tell me that this is not reminiscent of the past, you got to have your head in the sand. If you don't understand that this is really happening, and it's happening in very subtle ways. That's what people don't understand.
I don't think it's. Actually, I was going to say. Go ahead, Dugal. No, you go.
Okay.
You go first.
Goldman brings up a really good point. People joking about the watch list. Like, can we just talk about Palantir real quick? First of all, why is it named after the thing that Sauron used to fucking Saruman? No, Sauron and Sauron.
You mean Saruman?
Remember, it was the Palantir. So like, first of all, they are called that, and there was a surveillance thing in that fucking book and movie and whatever. And now these people have named their company that, and they want to make a complete database of all people. And you're going to tell me that they're not targeting people?
Real quick, and Mike, I'm going to call on Mike the Norse Pagan here because he's really good at this. Remind me, Mike the Norse Pagan, did they or did they not during World War II require people to have all forms of documentation for their citizenhood as well as for their original birthrights during that point in time?
Yes, my grandparents did, yes.
They all not only did that, though. They demanded after a while, and I think that's after the Night of Broken Glass, which is 38, I think. After that, you were also required to be able to, on request, show your whole family tree if you have any. Can I say the J word on TikTok?
Spell it.
Yeah.
Jewish. Yeah, you're fine with Jewish.
Yeah. Jewish ancestors.
And if you were found to have Jewish ancestry, you were supposed to have a gold star.
Yep.
The gold star is like 1940, I think, though. But this is at least 9 months before. I came up here to teach Sway some history because.
Well, we had already taught him a whole bunch of history. He wasn't going to listen.
Yeah, but he said stuff that is so scary for me. For everyone who doesn't know, hi, I'm Mike. I'm 36. I'm a civics teacher in Sweden. I did my major in historical. Sorry, my English is a little bit weird because it's 2 a.m. in the morning here. historical democratic processes. So I studied how Schmittler rose to power too many hours of my life. And the fact that we're talking about this now, I mentioned in the comments, like alarm bells should have rang at least 4 months ago, but it should actually have rang 2017, 18, when he started blaming other groups for America's problems, because that's a page out of the Little Germans book.
Yeah,
it's literally a page. And I see that Sway is still here. You claim that World War II started in 1939. I want you to open a history book and just look at when the Germans went into their island. And then look up the annexation of Austria. And then an annexation of Czechoslovakia. Then I want you to check when Japan went into China. I want you to check how Italy annexed stuff in Africa. I want you to check all that because, yes, the first shot of what we refer to World War II was shot 1939, but the war had already started. Look up Neville Chamberlain. And this is not, we're not even talking about the horrible things that's happening right now and the parallels to history. This is just regular history that you can look up before you make claims like that.
Well, he's already said, no, we're over dramatic and insane, y'all. And it's insane that we really believe this. It's insane.
The bootlicking is what's insane.
You refuse to see it because it takes away your security. We're telling you things that are actually happening that you could easily look up versus the things that actually happened in the past that you could easily look up.
These are people that when the reality sets in, they're going to have a huge wake-up call. For the folks that don't believe, like Mike just said, look it up in history, and now history is repeating itself. For those folks who think it's a joke, it's coming our way.
Whether you like it or not, this is literally the rhetoric that the people of Germany at the time said. They're like,
well,
oh, no.
the worst has yet to come.
I need to answer him. Sway, I'm Swedish. I'm neither Democrat or Republican, first of all.
Exactly.
Second of all, I want you to answer me things, because you're in the chat right now. I'm going to give you a quote, and I want you to answer, was it Trump or Schmittler who said it? We need to take this piece of land for our national security.
Trump.
Please answer me. Was it Schmittler or was it Trump who said that?
Sway, nobody is being experimented on, but that's not necessarily the only thing.
No, Miss Smith was experimented on as an incubator where they had to cut her corpse and take out the baby. Who was a black woman, by the way, Sway.
So Sway likes to say a lot of things in the comments that he wouldn't say up on stage.
Yeah, he didn't say shit up here.
When he was up on stage, he was trying to have a little bit of an arc where he looked better, and now he's back to where he was at the very beginning. And I came up to talk to Sway. I mean, he used a white supremacist arguing point with Africans sold themselves to slavery, which only makes it okay for white people to say, or either then or now, because there are I'm with you, Dugald. I'm one of those Mayo sapiens. I'm around a lot of other ones too. They like to make those arguments to make it better, and he's just helping make it better by using their point, which is that's just more colonialism bullshit, and it's not necessarily Sway's fault, it's been ingrained, but then he gets down here in these comments and spouts off.
He's back up on panel for all of you.
Oh, good. Yeah,
so
Sway, tell us. Yeah, Sway, tell us why you like to use white supremacist talking points.
Can I get an answer to my question first, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mike.
No, don't worry. I just it's an easy a quick answer and then a quick follow up.
And just letting you know, me and Mike, we're European. We're not Democrats. Let's get that clear.
So, Sway, the question is, I'm going to give you a quote, and I want you to tell me who said it. Was it Schmittler or was it Trump? We need this piece of land for our national security.
Trump.
There was actually both.
Question. Good.
No. When he justified the annexation of Austria, which you can look up, by the way, and that's before 1939, he said, we need to do this for the safety of the German nation.
The Jews wish they was going through what the immigrants was going through now, bro. It's not similar, bro. They went through way worse. Like, I need to stop trying to equivalent it. It's not, bro.
You're ignoring it entirely.
Sway.
Oh my Zeus.
Wait. You just keep cool heads now. Sway.
Gas chambers, I don't see none of that. Like, stop trying to equivalent that. It's not, bro.
Sway.
Literally.
Listen to me now. When did the persecution of Jewish people start in Germany?
Wasn't it when they made the ghettos after the Poland invasion? I want to say like 1940, 1941. I don't know the specifics.
No. Do you know that Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass? Do you know when that happened?
I don't know when that happened. I heard of it though.
Yeah, that's 1938.
Yeah.
Do you know how many years before that Jewish people were persecuted or hunted in Germany?
The early 1920s, I believe.
Illegal immigrants are being persecuted and hunted.
No, listen, I'm not. You're the one bringing up
my
illegal
God.
immigrants here. I am asking you some questions. Do you know the answers to this?
Oh, I don't. You study history, not me, dog.
Yeah, so maybe you should listen to me then.
Me trying to look stupid ain't gonna validate your point.
Because
You
you're
are
not fucking
stupid and
paying
you're
attention and you're being a
ignorant.
jackass about it. You're literally ignoring the entire lead up to the concentration camps. And because you don't see those specific things right now, you're ignoring everything.
Has 3 years
said.
left.
And then
He has
it took years to build up to that point. Dummy. It took years.
Sway, I'm telling you right now, you would not be acting this way if it was our fellow black man going through this instead of brown people. Full fucking
We
stop.
went through
Stop being fucking ignorant.
He went
And
through
You
it.
wouldn't let it happen again.
Hey, guys.
Already went
You
through it.
wouldn't let it happen
slut.
again, Sway.
Han, already went through it, you what?
No control over it.
Already went through it, you what?
Wait.
Hold on, shut
What?
up.
What
Wait,
did he?
wait,
Guys.
Already
wait.
went through it. We was already persecuted. We was for.
No,
did he
I
call
want to
us?
hear what he said. What did you say?
We didn't
What
come
did
here
you
on our own.
call
We
me,
was first
Sway?
here.
What
Don't
did you
ever try to
call me,
equate that.
Sway? What did you call me, Sway?
Slap. A slap. SLAP. A slap.
Oh,
What the fuck is a slap?
It's American slang. It means you're slow.
Oh, wow.
No, the only slow one here is you.
You literally have been
You're
ridiculously
sucking your
uneducated
masses'
about all
dick
of
so
this
fucking
entire
hard.
time.
You're riding for a fascist piece of shit. Who wouldn't
Okay,
even think
guys.
twice to throw you in the same fucking predicament as everyone else?
I'm a teacher as well as
Listen, I'm
Mike
good.
is.
No, you're not, dummy.
We're
That's
both
the point.
teachers on this
Papers, I'm
panel.
good.
And
I'm also a
honestly, you are
historian.
really uneducated. There's 2 teachers on this panel.
3.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you're a teacher too? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
What grade?
Ancient history and philosophy.
Oh, nice.
Now
So we have
he
3
needs to learn.
teachers. 3 teachers on this panel, Sway, and you still got shit to throw. Wow.
Million teachers. I don't agree with y'all.
That's because you're ignorant and you don't want to hear anything when I'm done.
You're ignorant?
Hi.
Yes, he's gone.
Sorry, Sway. I hope you're in the comments though.
Of course he is.
If you're not gonna listen to the educators, that's the main problem. I'm not here to make you look stupid. I was gonna try to teach you some history so you understand the context of why people are scared at the moment. You are making claims that doesn't make sense. You're talking about sending people to the concentration camps, which happened much later. We're talking over a 12 to 14 year period. And your defense that, oh, Trump only has 3 years left, that's not part of the conversation we're having here. Like, the alarm bells are there. Open a history book and you will see it. And if
He's
you don't
still
want
in the
me,
comments.
if you don't want me to educate you, fine, that's fine. You can still open a history book. Start with Germany 1920.
Can I speak on the Trump has 3 years left thing?
Yeah, one second though, before you do that, Mike, really quick, just to let you know, we had already gone down that road with him before, and he seemed like
Okay,
he did it, but then he's like, fuck it again. So he's just on the path of, because he's just being an asshole.
He's gonna keep riding it until it happens to him, and then he's gonna be the one fucking crying.
Right. Because he's not going to be able to understand what's happening.
Sway, his reign was for 12 years, but it took time to get there. You're ignoring the entire lead up to it. That is my point. That's been everybody's point. You're ignoring the lead up and the things that happened to the lead up.
Yeah, he started in 1900 with World War I.
It did not start with the concentration camps. It did not start when Hitler got elected. No, it started before that. These are the warning signs. We're telling you that's what happened.
I'm just gonna say
You're ignoring it at your own peril. That's not my problem.
He's giving. If it's not happening to me, I don't care.
He
Right?
doesn't.
But best believe he wouldn't like it if he was getting the same treatment.
He's under the delusion that his citizenship status is going to shield him when it has not shielded other people yet.
It hasn't shielded the indigenous nations.
No, and I got detained, and I'm a U.S. citizen, so it can happen to anybody.
See, it's people like Sway that me and Mike, being fellow Europeans, really feel like the education system has really failed you guys.
Oh, yes. And I'm in New York, and New York City public schools have tanked.
Imagine saying, I've never read. Oh, and that was the other thing, Mike, he said earlier. I don't have time to read.
Oh, that's
things
sad.
like that. I don't have time to look up. I don't have time to look up laws. I don't have time to read and learn things. So he's basically the goal to come up here with no education whatsoever on the topic, try to tell us that it's not comparable to history in any way, shape, or form because you don't see the one thing that only happened for a small, well, not a small period, but one period of time in the entire scheme of things.
And no correct facts.
Right. And all you got is, no, y'all crazy. No, my citizenship protect me. I don't care. Y'all are fucking dumb. Fucking dumb.
But if
keep pulling yourself straight, that's on you. When you're surprised and caught off guard by it, that's going to be on you.
If Sway is still here, what you need to understand, though, is that Schmittler managed to keep power due to the fact that after the burning of the Reichstag in 1933, he made sure that some political parties were banned, which meant that the Nazis actually stayed in power and they started to take away the thing that was going to keep him from not being the Reichskanzler, first of all, and then becoming the F word for what he did. They didn't start with, we took over now and now everything else is banned. They used some actions, and even the Reichstag fire is very debated if it was actually the person they say started it who started it. Because it gave Schmittler a possibility to become this chancellor. And he was the chancellor first. He was democratically elected. But then they started removing pieces. They banned some political parties. They said, you can't be in politics if you're this or that. Does that remind you of something that's happening right now?
Yeah.
And I'm not having this discussion with you because you are, I think, a Trump supporter because you're defending Trump. Because I know Trump supporters where I can have these discussions with. What you are missing the point, you are jumping to the end of something that started so much earlier, and you don't see why we're raising the alarm now, because the same thing is kind of starting to happen. I can't say, though, because I know I'm not American, so I don't have the same viewpoint as you do. I'm not going to sit here and say that Trump is doing exactly what Schmittler did, because there are still some similarities that are still missing, to be fair. But the alarm bells are there. Talking about annexing Greenland, Panama, Canada, that's something from 1933's Germany. Breaking treaties, which he did 1936. He broke the Versailles Treaty. That's something that's also doing. How many treaties hasn't Trump said, this is the biggest, worst trade deal in the world? I can name at least 3 of them. You need to start to understand, we are raising the alarm because we're seeing something that we don't like and something that needs to, be checked up on, be controlled. And then you have people who are sitting here screaming, "Oh, but it's not the same thing as happened in 1943." No, because we're saying what's happened in 1933 or in 1934 to 36 is happening right now.
And Trump went against NATO, which made it worse.
This way we did eat. The fact that you're uneducated on all of it and you're going to sit there and be like, no, with no facts or nothing to back yourself up and not having any reason to believe the thing that you're believing, that's a you problem. You think that we're not eating. You think that we're all being dumb or hyperbolic or whatever. That's a you problem. And I promise you, when you're caught off guard by it and you realize, oh, fuck, that they were right, no, don't come crying to me. I'll hide everybody else.
Also, for TikTok purposes, I'm 36.
Thank you. Like, wanting to be ignorant. Like, I get the fear of not wanting to admit it, but like the outright just doesn't want to because he wants to be kind of an asshole. Yeah, I got no interest. He's also blocked now.
Yay.
Disney's in the comments still saying y'all are like just saying that we're all stupid. So literally not knowing a thing, but calling everybody else stupid.
I would love, may they rest in peace if they were still alive, I would love for them to have a sit-down conversation with him. Then come back now, I'm 58 years old, and let's have that same conversation face to face. And every single word that my grandparents speak mimics what's happening now. I dare him. Let's do a one-on-one if you want to play this game, dude.
Yeah, his entire agreeing with us before was just an act. The whole thing was just one big act.
Why are people mentioning Zelensky in the chat?
Huh?
Why are people mentioning Zelensky in the chat? What does Zelensky has to do with anything?
Because they've been propagandized to believe that Zelensky was a schmatzi.
Mm-hmm. And he is not.
He's literally.
He never was.
Not even close.
No, for someone who lives next to Ukraine and was, I'm not going to say involved because that's the wrong word. Was highly read into what happened in 2014, the first invasion of Ukraine, and the invasions going on right now. You can't say, oh, Zelensky is the reason here, or Zelensky was a Nazi, because it's two different invasions, first of all. And secondly, Zelensky has gone on record to the EU that as soon as the war is over, he will gladly step down. That's a promise he made to the EU to help, to get the help from EU to save Ukraine.
And he is also Jewish.
That I don't actually know. I haven't read on him too much, but I know about the EU.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. But it's like, right now, yeah, there are no elections in Ukraine. I'm going to give people that because they are, being invaded. You can't hold an election while being invaded.
Well, the scary thing is that's what Trump is trying to say about the immigrants here. We're being invaded so that he can, I think that's one of the ploys they might try to keep elections out. Because they've already started canceling some elections in states.
Like, there are so for me as a European, I know I'm new here, so hi everyone, nice to meet you all. I see, as a Swedish person, I see so many similarities between Germany and the US at the moment, and that's not something I want to say, but I need to say it. Yeah. And I do understand that people in the US right now are afraid, and some people will be ignorant towards, the warning signs, and some people will believe everything that the current administration is saying. And of course, because that happens everywhere. I'm not like, it's a devil's advocate kind of thing. It always happens. Like, you want to believe the party you're associated with.
Yeah.
But if you open a history book and you just make a right column and a left column, and you write down things that happen in Germany, and then you write down on the right column, you write down things that's happening in the US at the moment, you will see a lot of similarities that hopefully will ring an alarm bell for you. And this is probably gonna make me persona non grata here as well, but not all of them are Trump, to be fair. There are other people in that administration that says a lot and do a lot of things that are similarities. And what Mr. PayPal did as well, because I don't know if I can say his name, but I hope everyone knows him, or Mr. Electric Car. Do you know who I'm referring to?
Yes.
Yeah. Things he did as well mirrors some of the supporters Schmittler had. And then Trump and Mr. Tesla actually fell out or something, and now they don't like each other anymore. But some things he has said and done, and something he invested money in, is also parallel to Germany in 1933.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying... Sorry?
I was going to say Grok this weekend started calling itself Mecha Hitler, which is the AI on Twitter that Elon's company helped design, and then also in the other thing that Grok did that was weird this weekend is a completely separate topic, but Elon is through and through a schmatzi, and so there are many other Peter Navarro, Pete Buttigieg, or not Pete Buttigieg, the guy that used to be the Fox News anchor, but
Pete Hegseth.
Isn't one of his models an SS?
But
yes.
My main point is that even if you don't agree that Trump is the big bad, what you need to understand is in Germany in 1933, Schmittler was not alone. He had other people thinking like him, feeling like him. And you can see it here as well. You have people in this administration who says, from me as a Swedish point of view at least, some of the most appalling things. And no one is, reacting to it. People are defending this.
Yeah.
And that's why we're over in Europe have been ringing the bell for at least 6 months now.
Oh, at least. You guys have had more, almost as many mass. Actually, you might have had even more mass protests across the world than we have.
We have certain parts of Europe, not all.
Yeah, certain parts.
Sweden, we don't do mass protests like that. We go more. We sit, eat our coffee, eat our cinnamon bun, and be like, yeah, this is not good.
Oh, I love it.
No, but there is a Swedish saying. And
no, I know. I've been to Sweden many times, and
so your this.
Your folks are very intellectual, but they're very laid back. They have an interesting view for about everything that they see wherever you go there.
Yeah, but then the saying that when we call it when the air alarm goes off, the Swedish people will bring two things down to the safety. It's going to be a cup of coffee and a cinnamon bun.
Yep.
Like nothing else.
When things are on fire, that's what they're going to grab.
Yeah. So when even we are ringing the bell, then it's time to listen. When even we are thinking about, we should actually bring some water because this might be longer than we thought, then it's time to, at least start opening a history book.
Hey, Chicago John.
Hey, I heard a Swedish person up there, and every time I get one, I always think of my favorite sweet.
I love that Muppet.
Oh. So you mean you want me to talk like this? Hello, do you want to go to IKEA and get some meat with me? We can buy a very fine bookshelf and build it together, but we can't.
Let's go burn down the
You see, this is what we needed, a little bit of laugh now and again,
little levity.
We're going to burn down it and then make it a beer.
Chicago.
My favorite episode.
I actually love Bleecker. I like Bleecker.
No.
Love Bleecker.
No, Swedish Chef over Bleecker every day. But my favorite episode with the Swedish Chef is when he's supposed to do chocolate mousse.
Yep.
So, you put the chocolate in the bowl, in the mousse. You put the chocolate in the mousse.
We're going to make sure that we burn down the establishment. Eat the rich. Eat the rich.
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Okay, what about this? Can someone give me a TLDR what's happening in the comments at the moment?
Oh, there's two people arguing back and forth right now that I see.
Miss,
Lift the door, you know, help the engagement.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
I really can't.
No, but it's funny. A lot of Americans I have met think I speak like that when I speak my, my native language. And the parallel I would do is, for me, in my brain, every American is actually a Cali girl, California. But you just make other accents not to sound like Cali from the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that. Even Dugald will let you know. My first time coming into these live streams, I always thought that the American girls were all Valley girls, vegans, and prim and proper. Like, oh my god.
Well, I'm here from East Tennessee. I'm here from East Tennessee to tell you we don't all sound like Valley girls.
Yeah, we from Tennessee. They eat their hot chicken.
Right.
Listen to the folks from New York.
Oh, the hot chickens. Hot chickens 5 hours away from me. I'm in the mountains. I'm up in the very corner where Virginia and North Carolina are. I'm in hillbilly land. I'm born and raised here. And
I've
still
just
live
heard
here.
me say y'all more times than I can count, so she knows by now.
No.
But we actually do have a y'all in our vocabulary in Greece.
Well, it's funny.
What is it?
You're from one state south of where I'm from, and it's funny. I
hear it all the time.
I'm from the state where the northern edge of Kentucky, southern Ohio, where the accent starts, and then
I have a friend that
Really
lives in.
say y'all. I say use. That's the New
lives in
Yorker in me.
I have a friend that lives in Columbus, Ohio. When I go to visit him and I go across the bridge from Kentucky into Ohio and I stop in a convenience store, they still sound like me.
There are a lot of them that have a deep accent. I didn't have quite as bad because my mom didn't have one. My dad kind of does, but he's more from the West Coast, so he didn't really have too bad of one. But just from being around there, he did. The mines can be a little thick, just depends, but most of the time it's not that bad.
That's why America should be considered like a continent. And you go to different states and then you get all these different, places.
Right.
It's also a reason that American fascism is going to look different than the German version because
the German version was just one race.
Right. Well, not only that, you have. The fascism here started decades ago. When they started taking states up. I live in probably the most fascist state in the Union right now. Tennessee is horrible. But I stay here and I do the work.
Right.
I'm going to say this, though. If we're going to be really real, it started when we started bringing black people in.
Well, fair.
To black people, it's been going on quite a long time.
Absolutely. Preaching to the choir here, for sure.
The black lady, the mirror here. We love the black and the black postal.
The other part of American fascism that's going to look a little different, too, is the oligarchy and that sort of thing. And that was one of the things I wanted to bring up about Sway kept saying, he's only got 3 more years. No. Even if he doesn't upend the Constitution and try to become king, I've told this to a lot of people, and they think that Vance is next. He is not.
Yeah.
No.
It's Don Jr. No, it's Don Jr.
Yeah.
He wants to start a dynasty. He has 2 sons.
All those shirts.
Mark my words.
Baron.
Yep. All those shirts they have printed up of every single one of the Trump children becoming a president. One after the other.
That's the plan. Scary. I'm telling you, that is the plan.
Oh, no, they didn't just forget the 3 sons. They did Ivanka in there, too.
That sounds like a monarchy to me.
It totally does. Like, he doesn't have to win in 3 years because he's got a son. Don Jr.'s up next.
Right.
He's up next.
even if they do go through a mock election, kind of like Putin does for his version, like I don't know that they'll even do that. I really don't think he's going to let elections happen. I think he's going to find a way to cancel them out. I don't disagree. I don't think he's going to let it. I don't think he's even going to give a show of one.
He's got. I mean, he's got to last, but
he's got. He has 2 years, and look at all the damage he's done now. He's got a year and a half. So the next set of elections that can affect.
But when I say last, I'm talking about he's an old guy.
Well,
he's not in great health. That's why I say it's going to be on the family.
Well, that depends on what the Heritage Foundation wants. Because if he wants somebody else, that's who's going to get it.
He can certainly inflict so much damage.
Do you think the Heritage?
Decades.
They're actually in control with Trump? I don't think.
Oh yes. Oh, I believe they are.
I don't. No, I think because he's a cult of personality, and they're absolutely not that.
Oh, I know, but that doesn't mean they're not the ones in charge. So here's kind of how it's been working out from what I've seen.
I agree that they're in charge. They're in charge of policy.
They're
not in charge of the populism.
They're more than that. They're the puppet masters. Because here's the thing: all right, so Trump himself has always been a divided figure between two string pullers, right? Russia on one side has funded us so much shit. But you realize they're on the outs now, right? So Elon, who was his handler from Russia, to me, in my opinion, y'all, this is my conspiracy theory. To me, Elon was his Russian handler because notice Elon went to Russia. Suddenly he buys X, and suddenly he's on Trump's side, and then suddenly is around Trump's ass the whole time. They have a falling out. He's gone. Suddenly Putin's the bad guy again. Now, Heritage Foundation has also backed Trump on a lot of things, not just for policy, but monetarily by the millions or billions, because they themselves are the oligarchs, right? So he, just like Putin doesn't do a whole lot without the oligarchs knowing about it, Putin or Trump is kind of in the same set with these people, because these people are the ones who fund him now, especially that Putin's going to be kind of on the outs. These are the people that fund him. They tell him what to do, who to do, and everything. They're even the ones who wrote up Project 2025 for him. He's their figurehead. Once he's gone, if they want somebody else that's just like Trump, they'll put somebody else just like Trump in there. Now, that probably will be one of the juniors because they are so like their dad. I'm not going to tell you they're not going to put a junior in there. I'm just saying it's going to be whoever they want it to be, whether that's a junior or not.
I spent 10 days reading Project 2025, 999 pages.
I couldn't get through it.
Sheer horror.
It's so horrible.
Every page has come to fruition. Everyone needs to be apprised of that. This is basically Trump's playbook, page for page.
Yep.
It was absolutely horrible, especially the section about the veterans.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm from Tennessee, so I know lots of MAGA people, obviously.
Yeah, you do.
They had no idea. They had no idea. They didn't actually. A lot of them didn't like a lot of 2025, but they liked Trump.
Right.
You've got to remember that a lot of these people, they don't read any policy. They don't know who the Heritage Foundation is. They want the cult of personality. That's the only reason I say that I think that it's one of his kids next.
Well, it might be, but my point is like the cult of personality doesn't have to end with Trump just because Trump is the one who started it. There are a lot of people just like him. Pay attention to who they put center stage with him and how long they last. Because if they last a while, then that means they've got the base who love Trump, love that guy too.
Right, especially
I'm not saying it's right here, right now, but it might take a little time. But I promise you, if they don't want one of the juniors in, one of his actual kids.
Listen, I could totally be proved wrong, but J.D. Vance is the Heritage Foundation's wet dream.
I think
he's now. He is their wet dream, but he won't be. He's not going to be the guy because he is too disliked.
I agree.
He is not as populist.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's not the guy, right? Because he's the vice president, right? Certainly, you've seen Trump's mental status, right? So if they are able to take Trump down, right? He would get replaced by J.D. Vance, and then it's going to be techno-capitalist feudalism. Like, and I really think whether or not that happens or whatever, that's what we're moving towards.
But that's counting out how dumb people are. Listen, I'm from Tennessee, man.
I hear you, man. I went around. I went around to Trump rallies. Down
Is anybody else here from the South? Let me ask.
Yeah, right here. Right here. Like I went around to Trump rallies in the South talking to people and stuff. And the real thing that they liked though was they feel that because their American dream hasn't come true, that if we punish people like immigrants in this country, that somehow we get them all out of here and their life is going to get materially better.
I sent you an email.
So that's the other thing that they really like.
Yeah.
Why are you writing me up?
But I can tell you that where I'm from, people don't like Vance because of who he's married to.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. I never claimed the foundation is going to keep Vance or want him around. I think they know very well now he's not going to be their person because he's not been doing well. But that doesn't mean they won't find some other stooge in the next several years to prop up instead. Boy, I'm not disagreeing with you that that'll probably be one of the Trump Juniors. I'm not saying it won't. That's the most likely. I'm just saying that it's not really up to Trump himself. It's going to be up to them because they're the ones who back it all.
Can I just ask a totally different thing? Something that was mentioned earlier. You mentioned that Putin has become the bad guy again.
Huh?
You said something that Putin had become the bad guy again?
Yeah, Trump was loving to lick Putin's boots there for the longest time, but then in the last few days he's been pretty anti-Putin. Well, last week he's been like anti-Putin and back on Ukraine's side.
Okay,
even for the last week he's been very quiet too about Putin for about a month or more.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden he's been like, I'm not very happy with Putin. Putin's done some bad stuff, and we're going to send weapons to Ukraine.
That could be your Heritage Foundation marching orders.
Yeah, but is your news outlets telling you what's happening in Russia at the moment? Like all the suspicious unalignments that has happened?
Yeah, there was
little hints of that stuff, but we don't get a lot of it.
Do you want the latest? Because we're following this pretty closely. Yeah, it's really weird because it kind of lines up with what you're talking about Trump, Putin being the bad guy again. Because 3 days ago, a 62-year-old CEO of one of the Russian oil companies just fell off his building, 17 floors up, just fell off, and it's being considered to be, self-inflicted.
I don't believe that from Putin.
No,
look, that's a common thing that happens in Russia. People fall out of windows all the time, especially when they're like CEOs.
It just happens.
Just heads of industry. There's something about these faulty windows everywhere. It's terrible.
So this CEO said in an interview on Telegram that, we don't have enough oil to keep the invasion of Ukraine going. Then 3 days later, the Russian Minister of Transport, Roman Svatchyov, was found unalived in his car. And they say that's self-inflicted as well. And then the same day, one of his underlings, I'm going to call it, but it's not underlings, it's like one of his vice chiefs or whatever, also just unalived on his office. And they say, that's a heart attack. And if Trump suddenly has started calling Putin the bad guy again, and you have people who are questioning if Putin has the capacity to keep the thing going, it's kind of interesting that if this news were to reach, the U.S., would some of the people who support Putin in the U.S. right now switch over again and actually start supporting Ukraine again?
Yeah, right now, because he's already said he's going to be sending weapons to Ukraine again. He's going to restart sending weapons again.
I really hope he keeps that promise because he has a tendency not to keep his promises.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no telling. He tends to. Yeah, there's no way.
You know what I was reading about today?
What's that?
I was reading about Kash Patel's girlfriend, the head of the FBI. Apparently, he's dating I think she's 26. He's like 45. A lot of apparently she has ties to this. How can I put this? This genocidal state that like that's like our best friend that we fund all the time, right? And so people are wondering that if they have installed someone like essentially in our FBI. And I don't know if you've seen like how these. I don't know if you saw. I mean, certainly you saw the what happened with the list, which is. I don't. It's hilarious that they brought.
I knew
in
it was never going to come
House.
out. Like I knew it was never going to come out. It's just such an obvious cover up.
It's the fact that they did the Iran thing and they were like, what can we do about this? Let's just do the Iraq thing again. And then it's just unbelievable that they gaslight this hard. And I'm going to tell you something. If you've ever been in a relationship, like I just know this from being in a relationship with somebody. If you've ever been gaslighted over and over in a relationship, that shit drives you crazy. I'm not sure what it does to a population when you have the president and all these other people gaslighting, like for anyways.
Red State, we know what happens. It's called propaganda.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's what gaslighting is. It's just propaganda.
Right. But I'm just saying it distorts people's reality, right?
Yeah,
and I think we have a lot of that going on.
That's why we have the cult of personality that is MAGA right now. Propaganda. Most of these people haven't read a bill. Most of these people don't realize what immigration really is, what it entails, what the hell. They can't even wrap their head around a simple concept like a pronoun. So, like, I don't know what I don't know what we're what we're gonna do about it, other than just keep fighting. It's so weird.
I also read that. Today that that Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump have been, he's been in town or whatever, and people are pretty convinced that he wants to keep going with Iran, excuse me, and that Trump's probably just going to let him. So it's just unbelievable.
Bibi has so much sway and control over us for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't understand why, because the dynamic is very off balance. It's the weirdest thing. BB's got like something on somebody somewhere in this government that
not just that. It's years of Christian propaganda.
Dugald, I think it goes back to your other lives. It goes back to the atheist.
I've even
lives.
talked about that too. Like they're sitting there talking about they got to support Israel no matter what, because eventually that war is going to lead to the end times, which is going to lead to Jesus' return. So they're all for it in that respect. Yeah,
it's there's this picture that I have in my phone of BB talking in front of Congress and like everybody standing and clapping. This is like I don't know, about a year and a half into what they were doing in Gaza. It's fucking shocking.
No, I didn't say Trump was a Christian, but he sure as shit fucking loves the Christians and is backed by them.
I love you, Christians. Just vote this time. You would have to vote again.
Well, there's even suspicious connections between Epstein and Mossad, which is the espionage arm of the Israeli army, and former leader of Israel is also, or the former, I forget if it was former leader of Israel or former leader of Mossad, was photographed exiting Epstein's place in New York. Elon Musk's brother also stayed with Epstein in New York for a while. So there are just so many different people within our government that have been photographed with Epstein. Epstein said that he was Trump's best friend for 10 years. Epstein, Israel, Mossad, and our current government are
that's what I was trying to
really
suggest.
wrapped up with each other.
That's what I was trying to suggest with Kash Patel's girlfriend, is that she's probably Mossad.
But can I ask a question about the Epstein thing?
Yeah,
because that was the news. Like in Sweden, we just get the news. Don't go into deep dive. They say this happened. So there was a news report that FBI now says that there were no Epstein list. Did the FBI actually say that?
I mean, it's here. Let me see if I can show you this picture.
Can you repeat your question again one more time?
So there was a news report that FBI has now concluded that there were no Epstein lists. But didn't some of Trump's cabinet members say?
Yeah, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi said there was a list. Pete, I think it was Pete Hegseth, or was it Kash Patel? Kash Patel said that there was like boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of evidence, like names galore, Pam Bondi said she had a binder full of it all on her desk. And then like
in February. She said that in February.
Yeah, and then just this last week, they have said, we don't know what she's talking about. There's no list. Why are we still talking about this? Trump's like, well, why are we still talking? Trump even said, why are we still talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
Why are we still worried about this guy?
The same, like, yeah, the day after it happened.
The day after
also,
Pam Bondi said that there's no list.
Dan Bongino also on the record saying this stuff over and over and over. And these are also people, Kash Patel.
Yeah, you're right, Ashland. He had a whole podcast day that he went on about it. Kash Patel.
But these are also people that went with the same type of conspiracism around QAnon, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, it's shocking. I mean, it's not shocking to me. I just don't understand how they can talk about this shit for 4 years and just be like, actually, it's all good and all gravy. Sorry, y'all. Do you remember when they had the people come to the White House and they're like, this is part 1 of 3, and they took the pictures of everyone holding like the little binders.
Yeah, one of the people holding the binders actually gave an interview recently. You should go check out.
Oh, okay.
Wait, can I ask what's the thing with the binders?
Huh?
Can I ask what's the thing with the binders?
The binders was about, really quick, you're over 21, yes?
21, born in 2004.
Okay. Well, that's like, all right. Yes, the binders were the entire file, was supposedly the entire file on the Epstein names, all that kind of stuff. Like the entire overview was a binder like this thick. And there was pictures taken of Pam Bondi and a whole bunch of other people from various sects of the government who were photographed with them. A lot of those people, apparently this one guy just had an interview with people. He said that they were duped into walking outside with those. And it was just a whole big, long publicity stunt ploy. His interviews, I didn't catch the whole thing. I'm going to have to go back and watch the whole thing myself. But his interview was interesting. He was like, we were photographed with those binders, and we had no idea like this was going to happen. Like this was all like one big giant like political stunt, all this kind of stuff. Like it was interesting. But
your name Dugald?
Well, the other thing with the binders is when they came out, they tried to say that like this is part 1 of 3 things that we're going to like come out with the Epstein thing, and like all those people that had those binders, what they gave them was everything inside of those. It was already released information.
Yeah, they didn't give them anything new. They just released info, and they want to keep glossing over that missing minute outside of his cell, which when I saw a thumbnail of the video, I was like, is that somebody's house? Like
JD Vance was on what's his name? Theo Vaughn, and said, yeah, we got to release those Epstein tapes. I mean, it's unreal, man. It's unreal.
Oh yeah, now all of a sudden it's like, man, who cares? And it's like, if there's no list and there's no evidence, why is Ghislaine Maxwell still in jail?
Mm-hmm.
Make it make sense. But now the MAGA base, who was all pissed off about it before, I've seen a lot of them on TikTok and other platforms already giving excuses like, "Oh, we don't care anymore. It's fine," or "We never cared about that."
Do you remember when that movie came out? What was it called? What was it? Sounds of Freedom. Remember that shit?
My gosh.
Oh my god. Do you remember the fucking hysteria?
ACs went out and people thought it was a conspiracy against the movie.
yeah, that's right. Like, we went in the movie theater and they turned on the lights. So yeah, all that shit. It was all fake. It's all fake.
All right, y'all. We haven't had any ops in a while, and it's almost 9. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Who's live right now?
Hanji, it's Cody, by the way. I hope you're well.
Hello.
Oh. Who live?
I'll get out of here. It was a pleasure.
Ty live. Everybody go raid Ty. Ty the Goddess.
Ty the Goddess. Okay.
Yes, Ty the Goddess. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Love y'all.
Okay, my bad.
Peace.
I forgot that was Cody called. Bye, guys.
Bye, go raid Ty the Goddess. Don't forget, Dugald raid Ty the Goddess.